Okay, everyone, welcome. We will go to get Rinpoche. Then let that we start a moment. doctrine Lama Zopa and Sera Rinpoche, Geshe, Lobsang Delek Rinpoche Chodang, and Dharma Chengi Kushu Beth Rinpoche, Dharma Chengi Sera Jey Soba, and Geshe Jamakadala, Zoe and Jamne Gindi Denabadang, and Mama Zamalaya, and then someday Tashi Dele Shui. I would like to welcome for Venerable Khen Rinpoche, Lobsang Delek Rinpoche and Rinpoche, Bezi Rinpoche, and the chanting master of Sera Jey Monastery, now all the Venerable monks and nuns, all the devotees. I'm behalf of the Kurukulla Center. Welcome all of you. Today we are very honored to hear Khen Rinpoche was born in Tibet. Maybe everybody read the biography. He was 7 years old. He became monk in Trina. Right now he's 7 years old. He became monk. Now he's 75 years old. Then when he was 17, then he became in Lhasa. Then with his own the Lama, with the exile 1959. Then he became a Geshe. He is very scholar, at the top student of the great monastery Sera Jey. He is the top student all the time. We are very honored to for him here. And also, when a couple of years he was his own Lama chose, he became Abbot of Tantra College, Jume. And after, usually, when you once Abbot, you don't need to twice. But then he's only the choice again him to another monastery and ask him. Then after when the Sera Jey at Abbot, we have to usually 6 years. Then we have to then change. Then during that time, again his Holiness Dalai Lama chose him to become Sera Jey Abbot. Then anyway, he's a very scholar, very humble. Is a real scholar. Then we are very honored to him here. Then usually we have to ceremony at yesterday, but yesterday everybody have walked and not time. Then ask Khen Rinpoche, could you give permission to today? Then he said we don't need to the ceremony. That this is our Tibetan culture. That we do offer tea, soup, rice to welcome to. Then we all to welcome to Khen Rinpoche, our students, by myself and our students, behalf of the students, all welcome. Thank you for coming our center.
Nisar, kasar lagi mana wah? Oh ya, ada. Dari ngaruh tu kanga, ani nyamdan zoje syu ate langmane tu ngaruh tu Geshe inada, peba inada ngaruh tu kanga tomba ciga jenju re, kanga ngaruh tu kanga chudo re, chudo itu tu kanga ngaruh tu tadi cin zoje syu ate ngaruh ni sera gabo syumus.
So I'm very happy, to have this opportunity to gather together here and meet all of you, and all the Westerners and all the Tibetans. We are all followers of same teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni, and we're all Dharma friends here. And I'm very happy from my side, to be able to meet all of you here.
이제 대니바래 다다리 간디나 제용 선에 거네 저로서 간달로 단디보 할 레벨 같은 단디보 때문에 봐야 버려샤니 대이상 가로 응에 셔라가 가보시 가르세도 다 개세가 오늘 전에 가르쳐 모래 거로 고마 존을 다 티주글 다 저로서 간디나 제용 선에 가로 응에 나요 셈체슈 오늘 돈을 다개 거로 샤와치 좀 차래 다개 거로 고마도 다래 다 전주에서 간디나 제용 선에 저로서 오늘 전에 할 레벨가 야보체네 저쇼 제자들 대고 아래마도 되네 저쇼 쟁에데 뭐가 제가 아래마도 거 점게데 뭐지니 되는 거 점고 여러마도 저쇼 쟁에데 뭐가 저거 여러와 저쇼 제거 여러와 대 너시가 저로 성문에 전에 슈자와 이나다 배와 이나다 저로도 관계 셈슈 자네 뱀무세 봐야 보충샤데 된지고 아래스.
And so this is my second visit to the Kurukulla Center. I have been here before, and I see that you're all doing very well. I have met with Geshe Tsulga before here in the center, and I see that he has done a very good job. He has started very good center, very good job here. And after he passed away, I was worried how it's going to be here. And I see now that everybody has worked very hard together. All the Westerners and all the the Tibetans have come together to work very well to sustain to maintain the ongoing of the center. And that's very important. Starting would be just one person, but it is the other people, following, who will maintain, that activities and so forth. So I see that that all the Westerners and Tibetans have come together to keep it really well. I'm very happy to see that.
아니 다들 저로서 저 아니 계시세가 제가 간디나지 간노용나 뜻을 시주체는 로야 되셔라 개체 모래 아니 때마세 내내 가르이나 개체가 거로 주여 말에대 거로 군사 전한다 다 계시라요 아래 뭐네 전에가 레하고요 말 계시 생에 대요 저로서 레하고 지금 공부지고 지고 요즘 말에대 레하고 자원이네요 말에 오늘 전에 저 제가 라발로니 하다 바다 전에 로쪽근 예시 어떻게 받을 계시 자원이네 동토고요 말 계시라 거로 야 타져요 아래 일단 게 저가 가르까 농용나 돼서 시주전에 계시라 거로글라 대마 저로서 갈라 노그래라 저로서 대 오늘 전에 제니가 말에 쇼지나 아니 니나 나로서 라마 세바 rinpoche 셔라가 가르쳐 보자요 취소 잠발리를 취소 가져요 오늘 전에 메모를 펴다 쇼다 제네를 아니 취소 갈래 가져자요 대다 돼서요 나로서 다다데 마녀 콤페스 또야데 셔라 개체버를 마도 아니 내가 녀차서나 라마 세베 공바요 만들어바래 개세게 공바요 만들어바래 저로서 라메 공바 돼야데 셔라 개체버를 봐 라메 공바 돼야데 개체버를 등에 당겨셔 봐나지 미 강에 하루 제거하면도 뭐 진이가 되네 제토야요 말해라 제나 되네 슈체보체 용토고 말해서
and so the most important thing is to follow the teacher's advice, and whatever advice, instructions that Geshe Tsulga has given to you, it is very important that you follow that. And now you have a Geshe here who is kind of a representative or the student also of Geshe Tsulga, and who is doing very well, helping you with all the things here. And so this is it's not an easy thing, to have a Geshe, to become a Geshe. Of course, I don't think you expect for that to be very easy, and it's not easy. It has to it takes like 19-20 years of a vigorous study for someone to become a Geshe. And you're very fortunate to have a Geshe here to teach you. And the most important thing is, like I said, that to follow the teacher's advice. So whatever advice that Geshe Tsulga has given to you, should not forget that. Keep in your mind and always follow the advice. And secondly, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who is very, very kind, for all of us. There are so many centers around the world, and he has, has been very kind, to lead and to teach in all these different centers. And starting the centers and to make it going on, and so it's very important that we keep it going, without any degradation or degeneration, not letting it degenerate, and to increase more and more activities, to benefit all sentient beings. And so this kind of work is not possible to be done by only one or two people. It has to be done by all people coming together. So it's very important that we all come together to help to maintain and to keep on going the teachings.
다당에 뭐버시 먹어와체 다니마 온 봉치네 용거야자 뭐버시 먹어와체 강제 나로서 문에 돈에 시자이나다 배바이나다들이 초바지 초야 될 세라가 개체 뭐래 하 레베 개체 뭐래 가르르 제제 나로서 초바지 요는 될 소소소소 라와 자사세나다 아니 소소가 잘로르지 요 소소시요래 소소 지보트니 저리 대대는 오늘 돈에 강에지 투그래를 대화 자사 사원이네 요 말에 마로서 최생에 되는 거는 돈에 소소가 레와 자사세로 봐. 최생에 된 소소를 두고시는 레와 자사가 최세 요바도 매만이 요바도 달로 솔로 가그래. 마로서 배미소이나 네 노질을 다 잘해 놓네 되는 로가레데 예나요 아니 저선을 다발 네 총도체네 네 최소를 요 아이다 네 총도체네 강가가 최제야 쉬쉬나 셔라게 제점을 할래봐. 네 가서 너울라 대시와 이가로서 소반되네 지체를 개와야 보치 사 토근도 아마 소소 지복서는 개와 사 토근 뭐가 하선의 대체대로 거라체는 로고 어제다 어떻게 개와 대제도 용거요 아래마도 예 개와 자체 뭐 용 토거요 말에 나로서 내리체의 소바시 제적이나 개와 자체 뭐치 용거요 아래라 마세가 아니 소소 롱원의 돈에가 레와 자사치 용거요 아래 당가도서 내리체 소바 내리체 요세의 자주도 마천의 셔사치 용거요 아래와 어때 소소소소 그 배미소이나 원래 돈에 대화 체자 주자가 어느 등로 용가를 마도 알아서 제와 셔만 로데를 취도마도 가야요 말에 가야요 말을 봐 아니 당가로서 내 레카 정적은 고코네 대대가이나 제와 셔만 로제 가가요 매봐 오늘 돈에 요 말에 어때 쇼샤쇼를 오늘 돈에 대제이나 제가야 규타체 레란디 치소노 용내를 저로서 내내나 셈시 자네 문에 돈에가다 세상 대성도 들이 소는 거네 돈에 강게 세슈 자가이나 아게 실라가라 거로 로 대보 용거래 샬레 노거나 노 대보 용거래 메모는 대바요 아이사 대바 거아마도 치 사완이네 용거 말해 때 메모세이나 용거네 돈에가 단 시자도서 가신 것만 더 동보 용들는데 뭐 보여 말해 말아 레치야 되 게스가 요새도 근다실을 레치야는 뭐 보여 말해 다리 못 하친데 문에 돈에 제다가 야보래 아 레베 야보래 다 소소 취시 제사에 된 무튼이 제소에는 제다 야보래세.
And so I won't say much now as we go through the initiation, all the explanations come through that. But anyway, it is very important that we have a center like this where we can all come together to study, to practice, and to do the prayers and ceremonies together. It is very important because having center and having the community is very important because there it gives the support and there's some hope that you can put on for any difficulties that we go through. So when there is something we go through difficulties, then when we have somebody that we can put on a hope on, or we can and ask for support or help, then it's very easy. And so having a center or community like this is twice more beneficial than not having it all. Of course, we can do some practice by ourselves, like circumambulating the stupa and so forth. But having a center like this is far more better, and much more stronger, for our support, to do the practice and so forth. And so I'm very glad to see many people come here together, in a big group, with all these crowds here. Of course, there's a great opportunity to practice and to study and do more practices like that. So definitely, that way we create more virtues, when we do in a big group like this, and and so it is important, to have some place where we can put our hope on, where we can ask for help and so forth. So having center is is a great thing for that. And and of course, the other reason is to practice the Dharma, which is very important, because that's the only thing that's going to be of some help to us for our future lives. The only Dharma practice is the one that we can take with us to our next life. So other things we can't do. We can't take anything with us. So therefore, whatever we, whenever we can, on a byproduct or whatever, on the side, however we can, we should try to do and those practices, especially on the good days and on holy days and special days. It's very important to come together and do the practice together. And so if we see many people coming and do the practice in Geshe here, we also feel very comfortable. And if people show the wish and show the interest and the wish to go into practice, then Geshe will feel very comfortable, and he will also help in any way for you to do your practice, for you to help to help you to accumulate more merit and so forth. So again, it's very important to keep on practicing and continuously practice the Dharma.
Okay, Cheshu Chilaga, Shuela, and Sonja Jonde, Temba Shisene, Temba Shisene Katsoyo, there's a Temba Shisene Kalizer, Konzala Mate Chilate, and it's Hila Mate Tenlate, and it's Tondela Mate Nudelate, Onshitola Mate Ishimanto Lates, and the Temba Jesu at the Shadaga Kechamoyo, Karis and the Konzala Mate Chilate said, Koza Korol me, Yomela Matiba. Tisong also Tanimanga Dovi, Titel Konatele me, Yomel Tani Lama Chemochi, me, Chemochi, Teleta, Chemoche, one that on me, Shada Mengetes or Chuchi Chayate, Zambali Lusugazona Shade, tell you about Savanine Yomare. Chedana, Kodala Mati Chila Tesade. Lama Koro Suya, Chita carriage into Tagara, Lama tell me, Chebo, Yo Mayado, Tanitaya Yomare, Techorosulo, Z, Yagomare, Sonja Choden, Kechebo, Chenel, Tekasavare. Teita Lamatigo Suya, Chita carriage into Tayare. I think he should get the carriage edition. And also Tirisoni carriage, Sambo Yonju Sena in that Pevaso. Me, Chemoche, Lama Chemoche, see my Hako Koge Omare, you de God. 23 on the two carriage association of Shiatana Yomare. Sunshil and Dova is at Tenil Pedo Savanina Yomare, Naruto choosing it, Namba sang it, no same Paya Gorva, same Yajin Dogu Yajin Dogu Mato Taha, Shoro tree Johnny said a chief told us at the nigger, Shara Hale Yomare. They is a sugar de me Yomela Matuba. Pena Naruto Tatanga Shea to Sanji Chunde, the Pena Shea Tere. Yatoji Chembina Suya Tere, Nayana Shea Tere, Gishila Yana Shea Tere. Shengi Kozal Chevate the Yorma, Shea Chula Tawan in the Cheva Yomare. What tell it to say Guyore? Madong Naruto Terisonigan. Nimanga dois and I say, do me, Chemocheletani, Jude, how level Teresa. No, you can't talk to and don't talk and do. I saw solo Peto Yome the challenge in the Sigumuduga. You get Tange share that numbers of Nyono Younger. Me, Chemoche, or the Lama Chembo, Cheshibore, and Chembo, Yijere, Chemache, the Sosolo Legorova. Penichisu, the Sosolo Peton, the Tagarama, Lama, me, Chemachel, Taya Yomare. O ten numbers of Nyono Gonel, Nyono Sagare. And the Lama then made Chembotani Sela Chane, Tigama Canone, Sosol, similar Pesa Kaze, Chugudu. Soso Gavala Yakoma Kaze, Chetogudu. Another Geshe, called me Kagai Chembo, Yomar Geshe, Mechemo, Tigo Choros, Peta Shota, and Soso, Sel Kande, Peta Yungudu. Gava Kaze, Chetogudu, or Tenil Gumba Chiguarva. Naruto Gava Conto, the Cheto Goyaro, tell Kamachi and get a monotonic Kadichamoche Guarvas.
And so Buddha has taught about the four views, the many different kind of views. This is a different kind of a particular view. So like the viewing not viewing at the person, but viewing at the Dharma. Or in other words, not looking at the person, but looking at the Dharma. Not looking at the word, but looking at the meaning. Not looking at the interpretive meaning, but looking at the definitive meaning. And not looking at the conceptual sense consciousness, rather looking at the non-conceptual mental consciousness. So these are the four views. And so the first one, when it says look at the person, look at the Dharma, not at the person. So what it means by says like the person who's teaching the Dharma. So nowadays, because of this degeneration time, people always look for the name and fame. So if there is a Lama with a name and fame, then the people just run after them and go to receive teachings, at any expenses, and they just go and go after them. But they don't even really see what is most beneficial for their mind. And they go and see, I'm going to see such and such Lama, but then what did he say? Then you don't have anything to say about it. So that's not very good. So what is the most important thing is not seeing what the person is, whether the Lama is famous or not, whether the Lama has high status or not, but rather seeing what he teaches, the Dharma that he teaches, the Dharma that he teaches, the Dharma that is most beneficial for your own mind. If it is, if it is beneficial, then that is what you should see, not the person who is teaching you, because the teaching is same. Whatever Buddha Shakyamuni, what I'm teaching, what we're talking about here, what I'm teaching is what Buddha Shakyamuni taught. And that will be what will be taught by Buddha Maitreya in the future, and that's what I'm talking now, and that's what Geshe here also talks about. So, it's because Geshe is not well known or doesn't have high status. That's just because of that you should not look down on what he says, and you should look at what he says and his teachings. If it's beneficial for your mind, then you should then you should think that. Then you should think of that as very important, and think of the Lama who teaches you the teaching or gives you the advice that is most beneficial for your mind. And so anybody who teaches the Dharma, which helps you to engage in a virtuous action, is the most kind to you. So you should always see that person with a great kindness.
You don't have tea, you're the water. Water represents the tea. Anybody got the water? Not yet. Anybody got the water? If not, there are some more waters. Also, now you're allowed to eat the sweet rice. Maybe somebody really eat.
Tanda ngaroso chishebe tomala ngaroso tembe dabo temba chodende kati jisa tembe gone ane jija sambashmi aye ngaroso kale nyondo.
We're going to pray page number 9. Page 9. Anybody's prayer book? Page 9. It's page 9.
I'm going to recite the praise to Buddha Shakyamuni on page 9. By remembering the kindness of Buddha Shakyamuni for his teachings.
Dhamma Jamdende
Geshe Java Da Jomba Yanda Bra Zobe Sangye Rigba Da Shabyo Demba Devara Jiden Kemba Jiwo Dove Kalo Jurva Lana Meba Lada Mina Dhamma Sangye Jomdende Bejawa Shaja Doba La Shaza Lo Chedo Chaza Chewo Dhamma Jomdende Deje Java Da Jomba Yanda Bra Zobe Sangye Rigba Demba Devara Java Jiden Kemba Jiwo Dove Kalo Jurva Lana Meba Lada Mina Dhamma Sangye Jomdende Bejawa Shaja Doba La Shaza Lo Chedo Chaza Chewo Dhamma Jomdende Deje Java Da Jomba Yanda Bra Riba Da Jabjo Demba Devara Java Jiden Kemba Jiwo Dove Kalo Jurva Lana Meba Lada Minam De Dhamma Sangye Jomdende Bejawa Shaja Doba La Shaza Lo Chedo Chaza Chewo
Kanze Gonye
Towo Jodam Je Sajen De La Gombo Dubo Ne Ngane Jikten Dena Cheche Zwa Dente Keba Jela Salo Namda Kuma Chodo Zozawa Yeje Jaso Sege Lombo Da Dawa Jikten Suna Lamewa Gombo Jenye Jala Cha Salo Chenzo Demba Sule Tawe Sedo Dawa Jala Cha Salo Duda Juda Seba Suma Yame Chechen Jala Cha Salo Gombo Tuje Chetemba Tamje Kembe Dhamma Bo Sonama Yente Jaso Che Deje Jala Cha Salo Tabe Doja Dewa Gewe Ngeso Le Doje Chido Dundama Chujaba Shinjo Jala Cha Salo Dona Doya Lamya De Lama Dala Rasuni Shingyo Dhamma Yente De Chocho Kende La Cha Sa Sangye Cheyo Misha Che Gyewa Pusa Soba Che Rangye Sene Yoso Do Dene Sangye Demba Ye Kamara Re Mame Da Juma Seve Chowo Da Mela Lota Chenda Ba Duje Chonan Tetra Da Sonam Diye Tamje Sipa Ye Gopa Dene Jenge Dandon Gada Nada Chue La Jebe Sebe Zole Doa Doa
Baba Gyo Dala Cha
The Heart Sutra, page 22.
Rula
Gelonge Gende Jumbo Da Janju Zembe Gende Jumbo Da Taje Do Shuzo Te Jumdende Samo Nawa Shejawe Junge Namda Ye Denge Dala Nyambra Shuzo Ya De Janju Semba Semba Baba Jere Ze Wonje Shiragi Paro Do Chimba Samoy Juba Nila Namra Tashi Pumbo Ngabo Te Dala Ya Rashi Tomba Nomba Tao Tene Sangye Gitu Teda Demba Shere Bu Janjo Semba Semba Jimbo Baba Onjo La Dikete Mezo Rike Bu Lala La Shiragi Paro Do Chimba Samoy Juba Jabra Doba De Jidra Lama Dikete Mebada Janjo Semba Semba Jimbo Baba Jere Je Onjo Ki Teda Demba Shere Bu Dikete Mezo Shere Bu Rike Bu Rike Bu Mo Kala La Shiragi Paro Do Chimba Samoy Juba Jabra Doba De Jidra Namra Tawa Jade Pumbo
Nabo Deda Jana
Jige Tomba Namra Yanda Bra Jisu Tao Sudom Mau Tomba Ni Sule Tomba Ni Je Maye Tomba Ni Le Ja Su Je Maye No Dije Do Towa Dan Du Je Dan Du Je Do Nombra Jeba No Tomba Wo Shari Bo Te Tara Chudam Je Tomba Ni Le Tenye Meba Magya Ba Magaba Tipa Meba Tima Da Dawa Jeba Jama Meba Wo Shari Bo Teda Wana Tomba Ni La Sume Towa Me Du Je Me Du Je Me Nama Sheba Me Mime Nawa Me Name Chime Lume Yime Sume Dame Time Rume Rikame Chime Do Mige Kame Bane Yige Namra Shimbe Kamge Bane Me Do Mare Bane Mare Ba Seba Me Bane Gashi Me Gashi Me Do Dejen Do Donga Wada Kunjo Wada Goba da lame yishe me toba me mato baya me do share bo de da wana chanju toba me be chera chera ge paro do chimbala tenje ne de simla toba ne toba ne de chajalo le chindo de nyanya le de be ta chindo du sun do namra ju be sangye tamje ja chera ge paro do chimbala de na lana me ba ya da ba do be chanju do Lama Zopa sa ge so de da wana shera ge paro do chibe nga ribo chibe nga lana me be nga mi nyam ba da nyam be nga dunga tamje ra do shiwa chibe nga mi do ba na de ba shiba che de shera ge paro do chibe nga me ba te ya da gade para sangha de buddhi so ha shere bu chanju simba de da shera ge paro samola labra chawo de ne chum de tingyan de le shinde chanju simba shimbo hawa chede de ojo la le so she chawa chene le so rige bo de she no rige bo de de chara ge de ma de chara ge paro do simba samola chara de de shama nam je sa yira mo chum de ge ka sa ne chana de mo shere bo da chanju simba shimbo hawa chede de ojo da thama je da de be koro de da me da lama yin da ti sa de be ji de yira de chum de ge suma la ma de ye de wo je 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 zu je de ma long je za wa le wa do ne me wa de ma ye ge ba ji me de ma je je ni me da ye de na chen da ni ga de je ni ni de gu no ni bo le me lo ni je me ba je wa je le zo yo wa ju ye ju ro je nyu do ji me ju wa de ba da shi ye je zo le do de ma je ka na le de je je da wa la nya ba de bo ni le ni me zo ta je da wa na nya bo wa no ge zo da da du ba je ba la ta da ba da de ba ji je la je be me ma do ma gu ye gu yi de me ro je be ba zo je ni me a le ne a ta be de wa la de nye chen bo che wa jin ye la nam da sam ba de ye zhang ba ye ten da xie xie ba ye chen bo ye ten be za wa zo zo tra ba la du ba ni bo che wa jin ye la ra ni sun zo long wa jie xian do ma che do wa gu jia de na wa to ne do wa do ye ko ge ye chang jue sen jie zhong ba jin ye la sen za ma ke jia zu de nam so la gong ba me na chang ju me da ba le bra do ne ja se do ba la do ba da bo lo bra ji ni lo be yo la yo wa she je ya da de la tu je jo ba shi ne la do dong do de we lam nyu do ju la ke wa chen je la to mo lam jang de de ju ba na te ba ku ge chu ju do je de ke san ju wo ju mo tam ba de la nyu do ju bra chen je la de mo do nam nye du be je nam da tam se ga dom bra so la che ma me be nya ba nge jo ne so da de de so ra chin ge la de ne ju de nim bo de ne na ma je je to ne dom ba ye tu je na jo jo le me ye tam be so je du ba chin ge la de da long zo de me che ne no se je du be do na sha de che da nam ge pa do che be do nya wa xiao wa chin ge la do so jiao wa gun do yang da la ma da da me che ge pa la sa da long je yin de ra do do je chang ge go pa nyu do shu. So this is going to be in page 59. So, oh yeah, and it's the praise to six arm Mahakala. Oi, nyon de jere de la jan da lo jan do je bane ya ga ne na wa jan bo da ge jan da cha do de ge 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 na bra ge ye ba de go ma wa de wa ta ma ra ma ne do de ye ba de ba do je do de so de je ja ba do ne je wa de da bo ja ne je wa na bra ge je do da bo wo da ge Tawa Sindu Raya Lemraja, Jawa Maju Jabo Gedande, Taja Migo Majendo Janje, Rajendo Guangaya Wala, Chile Jene Dharma Lendeme, Bade Jaru Balaja, Sanye Dema Nimbo Zowana, Kunjo Oma Nime Deman, Taja Melo Kona Jenenti, Kenge Majendo Jejawan, Chidung Mudu Nyendo Zad, Soy Tumbi Nendo Male, Batile Dala Dado Zo, Kodo Jemale, Jiba Jeje Zume.
Como Getoro. Como Geto. Tangaroso Dadate, Roga Yishi colleague Tsemore. Roga Yishi colleague Tsemo Sovalatane, Lameg less Shawado, Lomeg less Shawas in the New Yard. Lameg Chegayachi, Lomas of Chegayachi New Yard. Lameg Chegoyate, Tatanging Aroso Dache, Gom, Deshe, Do, Pombadu. Anita, Casababa Gala Tomashima, Gala Tomashima. On the Naruto Gala Tomashima Singete, and Naruto Casababa Tandandela, and Doga Yijiko, Temo Shawalatane, Gamo Pacheto Sotane, Taijati Parola Cheguyare, La Mega Chogaton, and Tomado Nyodola Pa, Taijati Para Cheguyare, Sonta, Nova Songala Gumba Tejiguyare. And Doga Temo Samo Shavala, Gamo Pache said the Pache never singing Mombo Yarva. O Gex and Hamakona Tane, Pache never singing. What does the Kangalo Taijati Parola Cheguyare? La Mega Chogatone. Tedo Yamdola Nausha Genda Naruto take Gumbashi in the Teya Boyore. Naruto gave shower Dobala Pache Momboyore. When I turn a Gamon Pache Chemboyore, gave shower there, this is Chevalayo, Gamon Pache Momboyore. On ye Kudenge Zonana, Sopo Debo Meding Sonana, and then Lekachi Leding Zonana, Naruto Nomacha Gentle Pache Younger, the Tache Tawan and Chevy or Marava. Shouldn't you in the sort of gave shower Jachemo Chega, the song de la Tisa Mandukina, Tende Younger, so Napaja Choros and Ginela Younger. Or Tosu Gamo Pache is a Yorova. And there's a Zopo Devo Meding Sonana. Lecate the Lay Young Zona, Temalena Taming Zonana. Ruba, and then you could then Sonana. Oh, Tosu Younger, Chucha Salo, tell that Tosu Gamo Pache. Gamo Pache, what the channel. Jumbo Chen, Gamo Pache sang it, and Jumbo Chen, and Younger Yorama, suppose an less on a missy in a Hako. Gamo Pache, Younger Yoba the Hako, Kotogre. Mirago Young and me, car don't chawatting at you, Younger missy in a patch of Sundogurava. Oh, the Gamo Pache sang it, and Kuma Young and Javane Younger Yorava, tell you what sort of Hako Yomade. They may at that they la make that any. Gamo Pache sang it, and there does it. And it's also in a Gumba Chebo. Tandangi Kangalolo Shete Yamarava, Pena, Zobo Madewa Sonana, only Shalena Chikungu, Dewing Zonana, and then you could Zonana, and Tonichi the Tuso Choros or Parate to Ade, Tachorosung in Gumba Chemuchi or Robante, Ote, that is a Gamo Pache to Ganga, Taring Aroto, Tau Chil, and then Gatotum Shola, Tuso Ganga Tai Jati Parote, so also Choros of Mipache, Neg Choga de Tongurava. Mipa Chen, the Tepa, Toma Deniman, Dogre, Tedonio, Nenichen, Ma Yugre. Hakodaran, the Yukatos on the Nichin Ma Tegre, Taija Paro, Teson, Tayabo Chonso, so Lord Desenges Cheguyar. Tayabo Chonso, so much so determined than Choya Marite. Narusu Chini del Kalejaya del Choya Marite, so Gomba Yapochi, choosing Naruto Nomba, saying the Noma de Sangutin Cheguyara, non Sangutin Cheguyara Mato, Shalon the Chaya or Marua. Nomba said the Chivas had the meat and each in the Tagliore. O te sonda ngeta da gela toma channel deni ba te chege de ne choro so kange go nyomandola mone no tari so so gemo pache kase yona to so kanga lo choga de ton ni thai ja paro te so ta yina lo de bo chung so so mi pa che shu a de de dongge tu ge won le ge de thoye so ba da me ba de je nong ga che do ho yi shi ga be me dang ba ye ge ma de de me go to je de che do chi je je ba to chen jo pa wo chen be pa se da ba Lunde Sumedane Dadawa, Ribe Daboto, Judoda, Lunde the Village Channel, Roy de Che so. Aloki Jigaro. Moya. Gashe do it.
So going to have the initiation, of the white Thara. And so there are certain things, to be done from the side of the Lama and from the side of the disciples who are receiving the initiation. And so there are three things, to be done from the Lama side and three things to be done from the disciples or the students in the side. So the three things, to be done from the Lama side are doing the self-generation, doing the front generation, and blessing the vase. And then after that is offering to the obstacles, offering the obstacles. So when we talk about the offering the obstacle, this is like, to cast away all the obstacles, that may come, which will hinder in our practice, of doing, of the Dharma. And so this is for that reason. So you give this torma, to torma or the ritual cake, to the obstacle, and say, please be satisfied with that, and don't hinder me anymore, in my Dharma practice. So this is what sort of saying. And so here the Lama, with the ritual, he will cast away all these obstacles, on the other side of the infinite ocean. And you have to imagine at the same time, seeing that all the obstacles are gone now. Now I'm very, comfortable and happy, and I can do my practice easily like that. So that's what the thought has to be. And so when we talk about the obstacles, there are many kind of obstacles. Some are, rough and gross, which we can see easily, and then we can understand that as an obstacle. But there are other things which you don't understand as an obstacle, but there are obstacles like falling asleep, it's an obstacle, and feeling sick, falling sick is also obstacle, and like engaging in other activities other than the Dharma. So while there is a Dharma practice going on, if you say, oh, I have to finish this thing first, and then you go and do that thing, that's obstacle. So even though you're doing some kind of job, but that's obstacle, to your Dharma practice. So these are the things that we have to understand as the obstacle. So as obstacle is not necessarily something that's always very obvious, something very ferocious, like very frightening, like someone with a horn on his head or eyes bulging out, or exposing the fangs and so forth. Like if there's something like that, then it's easy to understand. But obstacle is not always like that. It's, it comes like a thief, very quietly, and then hinders in your practice. So when Rinpoche does the offerings, of the obstacles, then imagine that all these obstacles are being cast away, on the other side of the infinite ocean, and therefore now you feel very comfortable and comfortable to do the practice. So this is what you have to think in your mind. If you don't think like that, then there's no point of doing this this practice. It's all done through the mind. So that's why in Buddhism we call it inner. Internal. So Buddhism is called internal, and others are called external. And so internal and external. And so the Buddhism is internal, and others are external. So internal meaning like to done with the inside mind. So this is what you have to think. So when you think, when Rinpoche sprinkles or spreads a master seed as the Dharma is being taken out, at that time you have to think that it's all gone away, and now you are free of all the obstacles, and and feel relaxed and comfortable.
Tsengwo Samo Shevala Pada Chebe Geshe Tonan Dada Kubacha Amasambe Yange Aname Sawata Tangata Bayo Bishamagobe Sawate Kama Yingate Parana Himongangana Kongana da Balata Yeso Amasambe Yange Aname Sawata Tangata Bayo Bishamagobe Sawate Kama Yingate Parana Himongangana Kongana da Balata Yeso Amasambe Yange Aname Sawata Tangata Bayo Bishamagobe Sawate Kama Yingate Parana Himongangana Kongana da Balata Yeso Sambane, Sambangana, Gana, Bayangana, Bangana, Bearanda, Sambane, Sambangana, Gana, Bayangana, Anayobangana, Bearanda, Sambane, Sambangana, Gana, Bayangana, Bayana, Yobangana, Bearanda, Pe. Oh, Jungle Chebe Sajala, Nebia, Lala, Subeke, Sukanye, Nayan, the Longa Samoche. Channel Dene Jadon Roa Kadena Calenda, Shana Yishe the Jamba Yego, Tawajana, Gano Lama Java de Measa, Namo Jeda Tawado Jebache, Padela Tombano, Jacadema, Soja, Jacadema, Chichiaka, the Mato, Jacadema, Jacadema, Jedon Watch, the Mato, Lady Rido Chiba, Sojadonibo, Shadow, Soma, the Ringa, Chaba, Jadon, Chabata, Chodende. Doga Yegola to Koto Chabano, the Mother, the Machi, La Bala, the Dojela Mandanola, Sama Chabala, Bada Chabato, Geshe, Kuyamata, Tonche, never don't say so long about Japola, Pemba to Deva Chanju, settle them begon there, and so then the Sumuchi, Katemodona Toy, Sejodoja, Mera, the Bohan, Jesaja, no Manjava, Homosamana Swangan, Samana Swangan. And I am a Samana Swangan, 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 and I am a man of the Motare, Runge together, Lege, Tigo, Shoto, Tonje, Doje Saja, Rava Kalade, Donche, Batsome, Bayosa, Tombe, Nombatoje, the Ghetto, Tawa, Medara, Jara, Medara, Jara, Medara, Jara, Medara, Jara, Medara, Jara, Medara, Jara, Cha. Yatate, Gela, Thomas, Madden, Rosarella, that Nova Tangani, Gumashi, and similar Lord devotees, Young Yojerva. They soon that tongue out of the Gamo Paget, Yamare, Tasso, gave our mother, and Soso Machu, and Mato, she, Gamo Paget to Kangalota, that Chogatos on Nipateo, Single and Alado, Nipayo, Marete, Chogatos on the Pate, Nipayo, Sere, Nipayo, Yina, and Gamo Pachetos to Pates, Hayorava. Tangaro to Gejo Machena, and it's also Duje Mato, Shoron the Gamo Pache, Mares.
And so now, like I said earlier, you have to feel comfortable thinking that all the obstacles are gone, with the ritual cake. And now it is, so also obstacles are gone now. So it is, of course, I don't have the power to cast away all the obstacles like that, but the ritual has the power. That's what we say, the ritual or the prayer, and it has the power. So if there is a power in the prayer and the rituals, then all the obstacles are gone. And so there should not be any obstacles to hinder you from doing your practices. And if you don't do this, then it's your fault now. There's no one else you can blame for not doing the practice. And so normally we would blame someone else saying, oh, because of him, because of her, and so forth, right? And now there's no way we can blame.
Oh, yeah, only in the Doka, you should call it Semushola, Lame Shawate, Sundosare, Tachoroso no Jingokal. So you're a Chido Chado, Menda so said. Or Chido Chado, Menda so said, the current decision, the Mochoros are the Kachicho Jerova. River, Munechina, Naroso, Doka, you should call it Jayakono, Doga, so much Unchochin in Doga, two said the Tide, so much Unchochin. Naroso Jada to the party, the Temota Rela, so much in a Dulo Savakin and Doga Yorba. Temare, Tarin, the Monet on a Doga, you call it Chumbo and Jugo, so much Unchin and Doga, or Tata Tangi Tangaroso, 당기 추세하다 같이 동네 돼야 돼 되게 대토래서 근데 샤세하다 당기 저러서 양 저거들 샤숨숨 차요래 되래 다 가서 봐봐 맨다세야 맨다 생각때 가르를 해주는 교밭에서 하고 가르마도 알아서 라마라야 아니 생원이나다 수시이나 가르이나 마노로 지들 샤와테 가르마도 아니 선제 전대가 마소와 미샤오세래 마소와 마샤세래 야소와타 마소는 마시에 조금 말해 제가 대이상 알아서 선제 전대 능가마도 봐 상제네 샤시 지시도 받아 치 마소마 줘야 될 주세 뭐 뭐야래 쇼제네 치수다가 내려고 되자데 가반도 따베세데 이세다 배자노를 드네 요아레테 예나요 아니 라마소가 대수고 누가 아니 소와 땅에 마슈네 치노로 치세네 샤와탱에 마슈와 이사 샤시 지시가 받아 치 마수 받아 뒤에서 아니 샤시 지시가 손을 아니 동서지 다보 총바체모도 아니 가서지 다보 사용보 자죠 총바체메가 세진 콜로 찌도도 뎀바 사용보 자저가 동가 예서 제와 야피네 되네 치수로 치세네 야 샤와테 아레서 대도 탐바 나로서 멘다 피고야 뒤에서
And so those are the things that is to be done from the side of the Lama, which are done now. And from the three things, like I said earlier, to be done from the side of the disciple are taking bath, making prostration, and offering mandala. So those are the three things. So taking bath, usually, so because you're coming to receive the initiation, which you receive inside, the celestial mansion or the mandala, of the White Tara. Therefore, you have to clean up yourself, very well before you enter into the mandala of the White Tara. And so, you're supposed to take bath and clean up yourself, wear very nice, clean clothes, and then come to receive the initiation like that. So normally, when you go to the parties or go to the ceremonies, or to look for the games and so forth, and you clean up yourself and you dress up and then go like that. But when you come to receive initiation, you don't do that. That's not really the right way. And so anyway, so the purpose of rinsing the mouth is to symbolize that you have washed yourself, and made yourself very clean before you enter into the celestial mansion of the White Tara to receive the White Tara initiation. And so then the second one is making prostration, which you did, before you sat down, and you make 3 prostration. That's the prostration. And now it is, the time for making mandala offering. So mandala offering is to, offer the mandala, the whole world system, in a form of mandala, to request for the initiation. And like I said, that if you are not requested, you're not allowed to teach. So this is what Buddha said. You should not teach if you are not being requested to teach. And that's the reason why, after gaining enlightenment, Buddha Shakyamuni spent 49 days in the forest without teaching. There are many explanations about that. So some says in some text it says that Buddha was sitting there and analyzing who are the suitable disciples who can receive my precious teaching. And so that's why he was analyzing, checking at that time. But some say that because nobody requested, therefore he remained in the forest in meditation without teaching. And then later, when the god of the king of the gods, like Brahma and Indra, who came and made the request to the Buddha, and then he taught the Dharma. So Brahma came and offered 1,000-spoked wheel, and then Indra offered the clockwise a conch shell, the conch shell that goes around in a clockwise. And so with that offering, and then requested to teach, and then he taught. So that is the reason that you have to make offering or request all the time. Either you're receiving initiation or teachings.
Lama doka yiji koli kungi yiso so mi ba che ko gare ane te ma se ngaro so doka yiji koli chewon no sa ne de yong tama ban de ta ba ma yin ba doka yiji koli yishi je rong le te be jayi ko ngi yiso so mi ba che ko yore ane mi ba che yu ba re so lama she ba to ba so so te to ma re ba so ne te yi chu gre ta de la me ge du sa re do ja no ne lo ne lama khoro je doka yiji koli ku cho ne chi to so kanga lo pha she ji la te ne che sa re 오테이다 노마소게 이나요 테네 테 로셔절로 로그 마레스네 자저 노마소 간노고도 알라마데 도가 이제 콜로 마르바 도가 이제 콜로 이소전 로셔절로레 노그 바세네 데그 마레스 카우토치 다리 초가지 또 지고를 로가 그 주사래서 어때 주가르마도 너마서 테마체나 야보요 말에 라마 로가 이제 걸리 공이 있어서다 네네네네서 로가 이제 걸리 이시조로는 자기 공이 있어서 그 미바체가 대 미바체가 이나 소소가 로가 이제 걸리 미래를 정오사모 토비가 된데근데 제바체요 알아서래 어때 이제 민제 안에 저로서 미바체 쇼스.
And now the Lama from whom you receive this White Tara initiation, you have to imagine him, or you have to think of him as the actual White Tara. And the actual White Tara from whom you are receiving the initiation, and the Lama from whom you are receiving initiation, you have to think he is the actual White Tara. And then also the place where you receive the initiation should not be considered as an ordinary place made of wood, brick, cement and so forth, but rather should think of this place as the celestial mansion of the White Tara that came into existence through the power of White Tara's wisdom realizing emptiness directly. And so you have to think that this arose, this whole place arose from the wisdom of the White Tara. And so there's a reason for thinking like that, because if you think the Lama is the actual White Tara, then you will receive the benefit of receiving the initiation from the actual White Tara. So if you just think him of as an ordinary person, then that will be just from the ordinary person. But if you think, then there's... So some people think that this is a misconception. It's wrong to think like that because Lama is not a White Tara. So why should we think like that? But of course, in general, you can say not. But because through the practice, through the through the ritual, and through the prayers and practices and rituals, the Lama has generated himself as the White Tara. This morning when he did the the preparation, that time he had to do the self-generation where he arose himself as the White Tara, and then he has blessed the whole environment and the place and the beings in the environment, as the White Tara. So White Tara, the celestial mention and White Tara, so like that. So because of that, there is no misconception. So it's not wrong to think like that because Lama has done that. Without doing that, Lama is not allowed to give the initiation. So Lama has to do that, has done that already. So if you think of him as the actual White Tara, then you receive the benefit of receiving initiation from the actual White Tara.
다들 그 미바체네라다 매담문에들 가르쳐거든 말어서 맨다 페야래 아니 멜로자야래 뭐와 노야도서 험바 가세 차나 야고요 레세래 험바 가세 차보체나 야고요 가르레 세션은 가르도 맨다 피그를 소소가 르 롱셰 제자라 요르바 아니 소소 게에 싸와 요르바 어떠서 강가도 대만게더네 세제 통제 게에서와 간데체 제요나 도도 강가를 제 맨다 좀이 노멀 메달 메네라 아니 라마라 아니 정오시위 여도 피가 소소 미바체가네 피 페에도서 용거요래 오늘 전에 피 페에도서 용거요래 라마를 피자는 라멜레 로고 말해 얘나 소소를 피 페에도 용거요래 봐 어디다 소소가 리노체 디스게서도 바토제 레제 맨다 좀에 노멀 메네 아니 라마라 정오사모시위도 피가 요소소 미바체 쇼스.
And then it is said that when you make offering, you should be very, very generous, when you make the offerings. And so excuse me. Sorry about that. So when you make, the offerings, you have to be very generous. And in other words, we have to be like very greedy in a positive way. Like, when we are greedy, we say, I want this, so when you offer, you have to be like very, with a greed, like, everything that you can think of, you should offer. And here it is said, in short, your body, your possession, and all the 3 times merit. So everything that you have, you should, offer. So everything, and anything that, belongs to you or doesn't belong to you, you can offer. It won't be taken away, but, you receive the benefit or the merit of making offering. And so everything anything beautiful, anything worthy of offering, you can imagine offering that. And in short, like I said, imagine making offerings of your body, your possession, and the matters of the 3 times. And in the form of mandala, and offer that to request for the White Tara initiation.
Yeah, that was the ceremony mandala. 제제 나한테서 맨 안에서 리워서 대세 과제 나래.
Page 97.
Uji senje saje om benza awo chiya jari kuyo ge koye wuzu riyan jawo rira shalo babo lo zambo le no balaje chanda menye lo da lo ba ngaya da ngaya she yende na lam jo da me nyen da nyen ge da rambo je re wo pa sang ge je da jo nye ma me ba ye lon do ko lo rembo je no wo rembo je so mo rembo je lombo rembo je lambo rembo je da je rembo je Mabbe Rinpoche, Deje Moye Bumba, Gyama Jewama, Lama Garama, Medama, Dubama, Nasama, Dejama, Niyama, Dawa, Rinpoche, Du Chole Namba Jave Jase, Hada Miye Bajaput, Soba Mazawa Meba Zashi, Owa Deda Dinje, Sawa Dan Jubra Jebe Balde, Damba Namda Kebra, Lozo Dele. Chaji Geje Doje Jo, Denje Ledo Tsene Mede, Jizo Lozo Dele Be, Zombe Shaman, Chonde De Droga Yeji Kole, Tsewa Samo Shewe Yen, Shigomba Waje, Tujin Roye, Dendo Jizo, Jine Jo Daso Ndowa Majeno, Tado Nyombe, Senje Doje La Tuzewa Jeme, Shoji Londo,
So please generate a motivation thinking that I must achieve state of full enlightenment quickly for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to receive this white Tara initiation.
Nama Sanje be Chusan Rovala Chandri Sambachi Guguyar. Te Ita, Naruto Nova Sanje by Ita, Chile Nova Sanje be Chilin Roguyarva. Ten Rovala Chando de Gore, Sanje Chido, Soji Chonola, Chanjo Bata Dane, Chapse Chisade, Sanje Zere, Sanje Kejo, Chisere Chukejo, Soji Chosere, Gendo Kejo, Okojo Sambotella Shasan Roguyare, Ten Rogayo Junse. Naruto Nova so Pevata to Kang Mocha, Shate, Soguyare Shate, Sodilla, Tomodogan, Sanje Chido, Soji Chonola, and Sunguyare. Pesu Gayat and Arus and Nova Sanje be chosen Dogo, Lama Lobale, Cheva Jebe Shed, Chandro Sade. Naruto the Cherobi Chimaraba, Matebi Chimaraba. What Cheva Jebe Shed, Chandro Sade, Moshi got it. Nova so non le Shate Sudi and Sanje Chitoma Tambon and Sungayare. What is Sungayate? Naruto Chede Yapochi Rebi Chedrete. Then Naruto Sushi says, I know the Archanjon, they go at it. Oh, yeah. Dagi Jesu Jebe Sonoche, Tanda della Dagi Chine Jebe Segrete, Dagi Jesu Jebe Sonoche, Dola Page Sanjen Doba shows at the Semchere. Te Lom Membale, Cheva Jebe Chede, Lom Membale. Ukot Naruto Chede, and a Tevachimbi Churba, Tevachimbi Chida, and a Semche, somebody go to Mother Semche, the Mena, and Tevachimbi Chulun Rovi or Mare. Semche sing at the Tenja Lamji Jugore. O Te Sonda Naruto Chede, Cherobi Chile, Cheva the Jebe Shed, Shandro. And the Temeju Chile, Cheva the Jebe said that any same shit, Tevachibi choose a door, what is you go just said it is?
And so we just recited the refuge and the bodhisattva prayer. So the first two lines where it says in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until enlightened I seek refuge. So that shows that two lines and shows the refuge, taking refuge. So refuge, is to differentiate, from the wrong path. As a Buddhist, so you have to take refuge in order to be a Buddhist, and in order for you to become a Buddhist Dharma practice, then it has to be involved, with the taking of the refuge. So once you have taken refuge, and when you do that, then that becomes a Buddhist Dharma practice. So whether you Buddhist or not, depends, whether you have taken the refuge or not. So even when we do prayers, for ourselves and at home, we always start the prayers with the taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. And even at that time, if we have to do that, then of course more so when we gather together like this, for receiving the initiations and teachings, of course. And then the next two lines where it says, through merit from listening to teachings, but normally we say through merit from giving and the rest. Giving and the rest, and the rest includes all the remaining, the 6 perfections. Through the merit from the giving and the rest, to add all may I become Buddha. And so that shows the bodhicitta. And the bodhicitta is to differentiate you from the lower path. So the lower path, the Mahayana path. So because we are practicing the Mahayana teachings, the Mahayana path, therefore one has to have the bodhicitta thought, the thought, wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. That thought differentiates one, from the lower path. So these two are very important. The one that differentiates one from the lower path is the bodhicitta, and then the one that differentiates one from the wrong path, is the refuge.
다 나로서 정우 사무초 알라 колон데 게 첨보래 колон 야보체 메나 토야 요 말라 자와 가르는 이나 요 колон데 게 첨보래 니데베 레가 이나 요 tombo колон데 야보체 가라 колон 야보체 슈 첨보체 요나 요와데 슈 첨보체 요거래 요와 슈 첨보체 슈나 안데베데 슈 첨보체 두거래 제가 강가 колон로 라래 바래 колон 야보체 케고 요래 대송자 나로서 남진에 당가로서 가르쳐 가르다 로겔루 파세나인다 단도다 추테 제딜라 알아서 송아 그때는 아니 다다데 터몰로조데 셔다 개체 모레서래 여러 뭐 제가 터몰로조 내도 저번에 대박 견제 조제 도지테 계속 제외 중고 담바데 대라 니도 주바 전제라세네 여러 뭐 제가 수마라바 터몰로조데 셔다 개체 모레 터몰로조데 슈나 로르체 뭐 차송치 소소 로일로 샤고고요 데이터 티체데라 당에 예도 시시만 내야데 되래 순거야기 존세데 되래 당하로서 뒤세 셔다 매아이다 너더나 소소소소 근데 도마 매반에 코반 초도 럼바데 몸바시고요 도마 매반에 다테 바다 나로도 제와 정지 못 쳐봐서 레사래 오늘 할 레베가 제와 뭐뭐 레사래 이나요 단다 제와 내리지마도 레고 말에 세상 산소주사 싸와니네 레요 말에세 산소주사데 단다 가제 레고 막 차마도 바래 돼요 오늘 내가 제와 레도 터서 뛰는 다 봐서 조세 돼야 돼 싸와전이 조고요 말 단다 뭐로 로고요 돼 대다 다 단디 안에 다제 조체소에 매일 쳐봐제 토베 간데라 안에 저 넘바 따봐제 제네라 오늘 세와텔 세수야 야바치 제금은 되어서서 그노 담보데 테크고 되어서.
And so, in order to receive the initiation, it is very important to have a proper motivation. So without a proper motivation, you will not even receive the initiation. And so motivation is very important in everything that we do. If we have a good motivation, then we will do the action very strongly. If we do the action strongly, then we will have the result very good, And so it all, in any kind of activities, it is very important to have a proper motivation. And especially like when we are doing practice, a Dharma practice, it is it's even more important, to have a proper motivation. So without a proper motivation, we will not be able to engage in a proper action. So that's very important. And so in order to have that practice, of the tantric path, in the case of here, the White Tara initiation, we have to. It is very important, to have gone through the common paths. So that's a superior path, a special path, and so you have the Vajrayana path, and in order to embark on that, you have to have gone through the common path properly first. So that's why we read, the foundation of all good quality at the beginning, just to cover that part, the part of the motivation. And so just like in the foundation of good qualities was having become a pure vessel by training in the general path or the common path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. So So that therefore it's important to go through the common or the general path before entering into the supreme Vajra vehicle. And so and therefore it is important to think about all these common paths. So first we start with thinking about how we have had so many lives. Not only this is not the only life we had the previous life and then previous life. So where we started from, there's no beginning, and so it's a beginningless time. Since beginningless time, we've been taking all sorts of kind of rebirths, all the time. And again, and so from looking at the number of times that we have already been born, it should come to end now, but still not. Still there are more and more lives to more and more rebirths to take if we don't put stop to that, through the practice of Dharma. And so right now we have achieved this perfect human rebirth, with all the 8 leisures and 10 endowments, which are the most favorable condition for practicing Dharma. So by taking that favorable conditions and putting this Dharma into practice, may I be able to end this cycle of birth and death to end quickly. So that's the first motivation we should have.
When it on a check and the window tell a cage of issue, or Jout to Chimby, window the shed of cage and issue. Carrier is an own senator of Mipache said the Matu Kakai or Marita, so tennis Mipache show us a Nendo the Chimoma, the window tell. When it on the Jout to Chimby, you soon barella, when you touch it. The Cassanga Lada Nilla, Jehashadilla, not any logo, they say, Deshe Yabojash was a Tude, Deshe Yabojago. When they turn a payment to solid chicken, they say they have a jagger at the end, and compared to this in the car no summer. When they turn another, so then shoot at our chamber, he said, I'm shooting a leca carachego, you may someone in another so shed a shinju, chego, amarella, on a hakotogo amare. Though they're not another tanda de Manta Yemiga, Java Shamatel, and Nesol and Romogasi, the lead. Chavache de Toby Castle, Shavashamatella, Yawada Yada, the Tanul and Domagasi, Chesonayo, Yatachere, Tatava Toje, Combola, Domatonayo, Shavashamala, Nesul and Domatongasi, Domagungasi, Chego, or the Mother, and also and a Chicha, Shada Peto Machumade. The Wachido, Jitego, Chavatel, Loru Chamato to Kangano Shai or Wa. Jite Shama Peje, Devado, Tene, Dunga Sevital, so in the Chures. Send the Conete in the Chimares and the Chevasheluga. Jitang Arusa, another Karina, Melcheta, Karina, Koran, Detare. Tachewa Shamatel and Rosa Longa, they are both Chegugu or the Wa. O Chegu or the Tegu, Chevashaman Rosa Longa, the Chikoro, Chenimatu, Rosa Zoya Meva, Juchala Soya Meva, Penjo Chea Meva, Penjo Chea on the Juchamoto to Taja Taba to Toja Chamber Comole and Rosa or the Wa. Only Palo Chea on the logo Sabato to Tabato to Jimmy Comole and Another Ledo. O choosing it and one tornado of a mountain over the terrace. Sigi Yina Chechung it. Then I also mature and a mother, Chavasamal and Gesol Maton, and another Lapaliore. Yawa Yoda, the Tono Matu, Leca, and also Tanda Yore. Tanda Chetona Yatache, Mato, Monet, Tonega, Lojamado, Sony, to Tennis, Pajan. Moyon Tache da. Moyon Tache. So Sony said, Sony Zoya and Meva. Sony no longer your Sony or no longer your Sony or the Noma to Dangar to Penny Pig Gamas of Chendred, Logi or when after Massing the Pedua, Cherry to Madison. Or take a Peleche and Rover. Peleche Chenny. Tre Magaya Tashi and Pelimobo Cherry or and then I will question that against Sony tell you. And the Sony tell you that Castle is Sony Lagan do that, Sony tells you that. I'm not Sony tell you, Tetachi. Tenichin is Savan and Mateva. Then I also the Pembo do, Sony Zoya Madua. And I thought Jada take a YouTube Pembo Ashendua. I will not Paleta in the Teru Chegamadus. Could you say, Pembo take our get on Duga. Karima, the Choro, me Peles or the Palepa Matan and Karima Seladuga. Tell her, me Pellet, Sony don't tell us. Sony don't tell us. Chetan Maju, Sony tell us, Maju. Take me a segment of Sony tell us, Chetan take it much more. I give Sony do Amarva. Opena Tenu Jangaru Chicha, the Sani Chega, Nanga Chega, Sony Alogre, Sony, Tenit, Pa, Shishol and Rogi or what? Then Muneton and Naruto Dama Reduga. Dama Yabo Reduga.
And so the preparatory practice is very important, So like the setting of the motivation and engaging in the general path, is very important. The initiation itself is just a visualization, and that's not a very big thing. The most important thing is to set up a proper motivation and engage in the preparatory practice, well. That's very that's very important. So we have to engage in those general path to make the other practices become good. And so whether we can do that or not, or depends on how well we set up the motivation and how well we do the preparatory practices. So of course, all the practice that we do has to become at the very least most is at the very least beneficial for ourselves in the future life. Nothing, if we do anything for this life, that doesn't become Dharma practice. As for it to become a Dharma practice, it has to be something that we do at least for the future life. And so any practices that we do for this life doesn't become. So important thing is the next life, right? So at the very least, we have to make sure that we don't fall into the lower realm in our next life, not to be born in the in the hell realm, hungry ghost realm, or the animals as an animal. So that is very very important. And of course, on top of that, if we can do the practice to achieve liberation and enlightenment, that would be very best, right? Even if we cannot do that, at the very least, not to make sure that we don't fall into the lower realm. So what can help us to not fall into the lower realm is the practice of the Dharma. So that's the only thing that can help us, nothing else. Having a wealth and possession will not help us, to not fall into the lower realm. If that can help, then all these rich people will not have to go to the lower realm at all. And those who are strong, heroic, brave people, if they can, if that can help not to, fall into the lower realm, then all these powerful, brave people should not fall into the lower realm. Right? So that will not help. The only thing that will help us not fall into the lower realm, is the Dharma practice. And that Dharma practice, we should do from right now in this life and from right now. If we keep on saying, I'm going to do it tomorrow, then the tomorrow will never come, because tomorrow, again, there will be another tomorrow, right? So there will be always tomorrow, for tomorrow. And so the tomorrow will never come, so then you will never get to do the practice. Because when you get to tomorrow, that will be like today, right? And it's, I said, I'm going to do tomorrow, And so there's a story about this great person called Agutempa, who is said to be the emanation of Avalokiteshvara, who came to Tibet, to give intelligence, to the people there. And so, so he went around, taking loan from people. And then every time he said, okay, I will pay tomorrow. So I pay tomorrow, and he never paid, them. He said, yeah, I told you I'm going to pay you tomorrow. And so then they reported to the authority. The authority caught him and then brought him to the court. And then they said, oh, you took all these loans, and why didn't you pay them back? And he said, yeah, I told them I'm going to give them tomorrow. And then the authority, the judge said, oh yeah, he said he's going to give you tomorrow, so get away from here, go away now. He's going to give you tomorrow. So just like that, if we keep on saying I'm going to do tomorrow, we'll never get to do our practice. So if we want to do it, we should do from today.
아니 제바메제 네 nom제마제 네 드가체 숨 대노네 다른 가로서 쇼야데다 단다데 드가 이시골레가 청오래 드가 이시골레 청오이다 시도네 되니다 드가 이시골레가 로지세나나 단노바서마 세거고요래 된 로제스 세거고요래 가르르드 쉬는 가로서 아니 춤바이는 춤을 계속 된게를 시작이나 아니 춤바도서 로슈가 춤을 가지 또좀 거는 손은 요구요래. 로 배된 하시고 알아서 로가 이제 걸에 청우시와를 폐해된 들이지 요래 생내를 라장은 저로서 강가로 가지 또좀 거는 청우시와를 폐도요래. 로와 대이자 로가 이제 걸에 생계된 오늘 전에가 다 몸보다 집어도 몸보 요아래데 대고 말에 다들 제바름 보지 생계될 뭐를 거러가 아니 다 뒤선 제비 가서를 아니 나로서 라발을 너무 땅에서 라이 땅에서 투샤. 아니 되게 라이 땅에 되고 걸어를 저를 치고 로샤마친데 저를 채서마도 로사마도 문드스. 로사마도 문드스네 까놓으셔야 돼. 그러면 내말을 이나요. 녀로노라요. 로스마도 내가 매번 녀로치도 사래. 대니 그 휴자네를 되네. 그러 당 로스마게 로치마도 내가면 친 넘바 타바치 제국은 뉴스. 다 취시베 라마치 제국은 뉴스 되니 집에는 해설 마요데 롱가네 라말레나 바생게데 투샤. 아니 텔로 되니치네 내가 녀로 동소 아니 라리 땅에 되고 되니도 로스마도 모두 세송셀 파 라딜 개체가 말해 세리를 동양 나도 다시 해요. 저로 세리 자원인데 그거 말해서는 다 그거 도가 이제 걸레가 생모도서 만노 다 저로 롱가 제라로 만노 네네네 냠래 제쇼세 되니지 까노도가 되니지 까노네 대대네를 로초이나 제 주바래 되니지 그 영어 도가를 소와타네를 단다 저로 로초 대사레세네 로 던체디비아래 되네 용조를 도가 이제 걸레 끝이 제쇼다 아니 단다 저로 로 종안에 시 유거래세는 더더나 로서마도 내야 맹게데 타주를 도가 이제 걸 거래레시네 되니치는 로네라 아니 단다 되래 로그치 공가 쉬우잔두스 어테이당 알아서 셔야게 생오티가 페에나데 되니 뉴스 넘어서 페에다 하고서는 아니 제를 로 대보 용거를 왔어
수사를 뭐지? 수레다.
대화를 못 치.
대화를.
그걸 라말레나 봐 나와래.
Sorry, I missed something earlier on the previous part about the preparation practice. The preparation practice is very important, and His Holiness always mentions about that. And Rinpoche said when last time when he saw His Holiness in Ladakh, he mentioned about going to the different part of the world on a tour like this. And at that time, His Holiness, said, to Rinpoche that it's very important to explain the teachings very well. If you don't understand the meaning, then you will not get into the practice. So it is very important to explain the meanings clearly. And so what practice they should do, what is the right practice, what is the wrong practice, and so forth. So this thing, explaining that is very important. That's what he mentioned. So anyway, so I missed that part earlier. And now, so now we're going to have this long life initiation of the White Tara, and actually there are three long life deities: the Amitayus, so it's Sepame Amitayus, and then the Dolkar, is the White Tara, and the Namjalma, and it's called the Vijaya, and so these three are the long life deities, and among these three that we're going to have, which is going to confer the long life initiation of the White Tara. And so there are many great benefits, of receiving White Tara initiation. Just like it is very important to understand the benefits. So when you know the benefit, then you go for it, right? So just like a businessman, when he sees the profit or the benefit, then he will do the business. If he doesn't see that benefit, then he will not do it. So just like that, it's important to know the benefit. So there are many benefits. So one of the account of that benefit. So there was this Lama called Lama Delma, and he was having his palm read, by somebody, and then when they read his palm, it says, "Oh, you have very short life. You live only up to 3 years now." So and then not only that he believed in the palm reader, but he also had a dream himself that he's going to live only for 3 years. So he says, it doesn't matter whether it's 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. Whatever time I have, I'm going to do this, do the practice very well, spend this time very well, and do the practice. And so he started travel, from his hometown, towards Lhasa. On the way, he met this Lama called Lama Lemapa, and when he met him, he told him about his life. That how short is left, and he's going to go and do practice. He says, "Oh, don't worry about that. There is a solution for that. I can give you the White Tara initiation, and that will help you to prolong your life." And then, so after receiving that, he said, and then you just stay here and do the practice. And he received the initiation, and then he lived, for like 10 years. He was going to die in 3 years, but then he lived up to 3 years, and then he again received initiation, and then that way he lived up to like he was 70 years old. And then when he was 70 years old, and then the Lama told him that again you build White Tara statue, and that will help you to prolong your life again. And so he did, that. those practice of the long life the White Tara and long life deity White Tara and build her statues and so forth. And that way he lived up to 95 years old. And so there are such benefits. So if we see the benefit, then we will engage in the action, right?
Roga issue call singing on a card of Melama Momo, Chicago, Carrier Session, Maroso, Chubala, and it's Rimbo de Guiora, Rimbo Madan, and set to the channel, and it's you use him to chat over your mother. Take it, Jachambo Chavala, Rimbo de Guiora. Tea chat early on, say such a Guiora. And the Chichavala Yan, Garsagrata, Saya Tuyala Sobatani, Mena. Penjola Sobatani, Mena, Yotani tell the Kaleja Guyor. O Tita Naruto, no Hachi Teguyor, no Lateon, Doka Ijikolo Corore. And then Naruto, Saya Tuya, Yo, Rimbo Dena, so Shira, Posusobachi Mena, Yachi Nosa Lemala, Loyabochi Mena, Sheda, Yoleche Toyomare. Shira, your son, Doyor, Sundu. Corupeno, Yara, Java Gendu, and then that day, Doka Ijikolo, and Shira Posusobachum, and it's a Logino Yor. Tang Aroso Neja Mechi Sate. When it only go, Seribon God, Cottage on Seribon and Dogoyade, Longshen Gogoyade, Nola is a cottage on Longshe Yungoyade. Only Shira to tell you the year, a Shira Potoba Yungoyade, and a Neja Mechi Tabares, and they intimate the Kadom Lama to so Momboche Doga is called Tengu Dus, Tang Aroso T. Jinju, Naroso Tete and Yapon Dus.
And many of the Kadamba masters, practice the White Tara, and the reason is because in order to practice Dharma, we need to have a long life, right? So if we have short life, then we won't be able to accomplish, much Dharma practice. And so in order to accomplish, our Dharma practice, we have to have a long life. So therefore, we should pray, to White Tara or do the White Tara practice. And even if we have a long life, but if we don't have enough, necessities like food, clothing, and so forth, then again we'll have to work for that, right? Work for that, and so we'll not be able to spend the time practicing Dharma. Therefore, we need to rely on a wealth deity. And the White Tara is also said to be the wealth deity. And then even if you have a long life, even if you have all these necessities like food, clothing, and so forth, but if your behavior is not good, then you will not do the practice well, right? And so it says that through doing the practice of the White Tara, your behavior, your mind becomes more subdued, your actions, physical actions becomes more subdued, so your behavior becomes very good also. And so therefore, and all the White Tara practice gives you all these things: a long life, the wealth, and a good behavior, and so forth. So it's said like it is like one medicine for 100 diseases. There's like that, and it is a practice that is done by all the Kadamba masters. And since we are the follower of the Kadamba master, we should also do this practice of White Tara.
Ane tariga roga yiji kole tsemo si shenile, tsela rinda tanile, ane che nyole yabo che chego yi, o ti che da nga tani tsemo shego yi so so mi ba chego go yore. Ma do nga che ribo che debi che de chibo sena tsemo togo mare. Ma ge semje doje je de la na ma yo da ba zube sanje je kombo to ba cha. Ti che da roga yiji kole tsemo shenile, che nyole shama che chego yi so so mi ba de kono te kushos.
And so now you set up a motivation thinking that I must achieve state of full enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to receive this White Tara initiation. And so your reason to stay, to live long should be so that you can practice Dharma. Not just because you want to live long, but because you want to live long so that you can practice, because you want to live long so that you can practice Dharma to benefit other sentient beings. So if you think like that, then your motivation becomes a very good motivation, and then you will receive the initiation. Otherwise, if you don't have a good motivation, you will not even receive an initiation. And so it says, by receiving this long life initiation, may I live long and may I be able to practice Dharma purely. So with that thought now, take another initiation, okay?
Da tenici da mo mo go che sang ar so le ye ka se la ze mo che she ja le chu se ge de ya ze ban je yung da che se chi ji ni yi se pe le yin la me ge ma teni yi se go re da de ne le ka ya ma le cho so le sha le mo ya che se chi ji ni yi se ne ar so ti se she ra ya ma le 오늘 디세 슈너도 내 대세 자궁에 되래. 넘어서를 대세 자궁에 되대. 아니 디세 요 말해. 등에 또 단다도 쇼가야 돼. 가정하는 거로서 도나 제노를 대두다. 게시는 대세 자야만 되스. 까마 가셔도 뭐 파쇼 도자 소바시가 치셔야 될 녀만 이제 셔야 되스. 저저 게시도서는 까마 가셔만 셔야만 되스. 네 가서 먹으려는 대세자 셰가는 셰야요. 게시 간데 지는 그러고 조서서가 말해. 간주 대지 자소요래. 셰야요 봐. 놈이 디셀을 딱 걸어. 놈이 디셀 딱 걸고 말에 내가 로그고요. 전에 전에 뭐치야 잡배만 녀만 두고 뒤와. 녀만 이제 내가 로 잡배만 녀만이 공세를 텔 취쇼를 용거를 간지 전부 야보를 봤대. 오늘 전에 전에 가파터는 놀 대소 당해요 도서. 다들 시작 때문에 동을 했어요. 뭐 대야보 말해. 나 대는 최내 감아서 돼. 그래서 디세 저기는 가서 시거나 시죠. 그래 선제 집도 말 나와니 시거나 시도 그래. 군조에다 디세 저기는도 디세요 말을 봤대. 이 이따다 가로서 단다대 야 다치나시대 디세 되리시 봐. 뭐네 돈에 그마도 다 디세 탈 뛰사는 뭐네 돈에 탈 뛰네 사자 마치는 할 레베 디세 짜시보실 레사르다. 뭐네래 어때 이 땅에 다 되는 저자가 있었다는 게 알리 뮤좀 고추기 다들 대시 자사 맞아 줘.
너무.
야 맞도.
So so I was joking around, when I was in another place. Here in the West, the disciples decide the time, of the teaching. In Tibet, the teachers used to decide the time of the teaching. How long it should be, when it should be, and so forth. It should be. The Lama is the one who will make the decision. But here, the disciples make decision, because it has to go on the disciples' time. So the teaching has to be given only when disciples are free. When the disciples want. So it has to go according to their time on the weekends only. The other time they're busy working, working, so can't do that. And then also again there was some other controversy about the Shugden group, who were explaining for a very, very lengthy time, and then somebody told that, the Geshes are not able to explain. They only have the name Geshe, but they don't really know how. They don't have they cannot explain. And these people, they're explaining, for like 2 hours and so forth. And so of course there's if it can be explained, then there's always an explanation to give. And there are like all these hundreds of volumes of scripture, like the translated teachings and the translated commentaries of the Buddha's teaching, which you can explain, which can be for explanation for very, very long time. And if you need to explain, then even the explanation on the refuge, prayer, refuge and bodhisattva prayer, and we can explain for 2 months, on that. So you can explain for a long time. Anyway, so that kind of controversy is not good. And of course, we have to depend on the students' time, and so it has to go according to their time when they're free, and especially on the weekends only. So anyways, even that much of time that we have, is very fortunate. We're still very good, to be able to do that. So keep on doing that, and now we're going to start the actual initiation.
다 정오세와라 소환대가 소환대 비치데 뒤서 상제 통제지 뭐 바델라마에 달라 이제 고로에 정오 삼모세도 소사되래 지대 등하로서 지디 제거를 뒤서 상제 도제지 뭐 바델라마 라마 저로 뒤서 저 상제 도제지 뭐래 자 뉴스거래 그러봐 어느 뒤서 상제지 뭐 바델라마에 어느 라마 저로 달라 이제 고로에 정오 삼모세 노로 지선에 대셔와 대거요래 대 틀을 자네 어느 단대 지디 제거래서
So now, in order to receive the initiation, you have to make the request, and so to request, and you're going to repeat this after Rinpoche. So here it says to Sumsangye, and that means like the Buddhas of the 3 times, right? The past, present, and future. And Ngo Padilama is Ngo means like the nature. And so you, the glorious Lama, is the nature of all the Buddhas of the 3 times. And please, Dala Yishikolo Itself. So then please confirm me the novel initiation of the White Tara deity. And so that's what you're saying when you repeat, but you'll be repeating in Tibetan. So please fold your hands together and repeat after Rinpoche.
Tusum Sangye Tamche Chi.
Tusum Sangye Tamche Ki.
Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Tusum Sangye Tamche Chi.
Tusum Sangye Tamche Ki.
Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Tusum Sangye Tamche Chi. Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Mo Pade Lama Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Dala Yishi Kolo Yi.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So Choro So Lama Dong. Tene Lama Jeje the Shaji Jiso So So Mi Bache Go. Telo Tende Chebache Go.
So now when you repeat after Rinpoche saying Tsewa Samo Tseldo So, at that time you're saying, please, grant me the noble initiation of the long life deity. And at that time also imagine that Lama happily accepted your request to give you the initiation. Okay?
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Tsewa Samo Tseldo So.
Oh yeah, that thing so what about the Tanga so nene me Ponchen Lango Tema to Doma Junga Singapore. Lango Tema said. Ne Doka Yiju Kola the Kanichi or the Kondo Kabo, Shachi, Shani, and she do. Now at any chick on the two God, Taman Choga make man dagger, Choros of Tene Gumbaji, Doka Yiju Kola Sengatel Rova, and Kondo Kabo, and a Shachi, Shani, and a share this share some Sha near the Shani, Sha near the Shani, share doing our Hakutarawa, Tane, Shaye, or Choja, Shajan Zabas, and the Richege. You know what taking the rich and the metal of Bala Cabos and Nova. And it's a metal, then I don't near the Tele, Metal Chi, and a Java Chetange, Chimate, and a metal Saba. Sumate, October and a metal and a Shaya Yangigo, or Tanichi Gomba Shigo, Carrera, Tiso Sanje Tango or Tigo. Metal never Tange, Debbie Sanje, Tata Metal Cashe, they Tata Sanje. But to do the Mamo Besoje, Tiso Sonje Sembe Da, and a Tanichi Metal Obala Cabochi Suyo, there's a Tatanichi Gomaji Chong in there.
Okay, so now the next is the introducing the deity, and so here the deity White Tara. So you're you're being introduced, so you're being described how White Tara looks like. So you have to visualize that. So White Tara, of course, just by the name, the color of her body is white, and she has one face and two arms, and she has 7 eyes. And so the two regular eyes, and then the one eye in the middle of the forehead, and then the 2 eyes in the palm of the 2 hands, and the 2 eyes on the sole of the 2 feet. 2 feet. So there are 7 eyes like that. And then she's sitting in the posture. Her right hand is a posture of granting a supreme realization, and then her left hand is in the gesture or mudra of teaching the Dharma, or expounding the Dharma, and holding a stem of the Utpala flower, and which goes up and then blossoms at the level of her left ear. And so the Utpala flower have like 3 buds. And so one is fully opened, which is like a kind of old, and there's one is newly opened, and then one it only has the seed there, and it's about to open. So this is very important that those 3 symbolizes the Buddhas of the 3 times. The one that is fully blossoms is the Buddhas of the past, and that one is just blossomed now is the Buddhas of the present, and the one with only the seed or the bud is the Buddha of the future. So you can see the White Tara, the deity picture also behind Rinpoche's.
Oh, come on. What then the Doka is called Shachi, Shani, Kodokabu, he said, and this, they look much got this and this.
And so call it the front generation. So this is the front generation. and the white Tara that is just being introduced or described, is this one here, with the white color body, one face and two arms, and so forth. And so now this is the front generation where you have visualized in a white Tara with one face, two arms, and so forth. And then above her is all the lineage gurus of the white Tara initiation. And all the lineage gurus pile up on top of each other. And then surrounded to them are all the Buddhas and bodhisattvas, all the gurus and all the deities, all the Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and all the Dharma palas and so forth. So the whole space is filled with all these holy beings. Like that.
And it's just a Dharma saying the current religion, Maggie said, Tomje, Zobe, Sonja, Gombo, Tobarcha, T. said the Jasi Cheba, a Jesu Pazo, the Shabatula, Lavi is in a Kelly or this.
And so now you have visualized, the long life deity, right, with all the, the entourages and so forth. And so now and the reason why you have to visualize that is because in their presence, now you're going to take the bodhisattva vow. So the bodhisattva vow is the vow or promise that you make to yourself, thinking that I'm going to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, and I'm going to engage in these activities of the bodhisattva, such as engaging in the practice of sixth perfection, like the perfection of generosity, morality, and so forth. So.
Lama Yodo suggestions a bit Chebache telling the Kele in the Kele the Temba Yungas. Karus and Marus Jitemba Yina, me Mobochi and the Kele by the Kele Tengure. Mochi, Soto Chibo Kele by the Kele Tengama, no Basso Chengre. Chang to me, Ba Jagame said Soto Kele Java Kele Momboyone. Raba, Soto Chibo Kele Jayado, and then Mochi and the Kele at the Temboyamare. Me more the chicken dollar Kele the Mimo as a tempo younger, teach the Naruto, tea no nature, Lama Yodo suggestions the power to Chichu Suma, Dada Yosan Kelen, tell it to Kele Temba Younger, as a teacher, the Satagaya Josete.
So the reason why we visualize all these holy beings in the space in front of us, and then in their presence, we take this vow or the promise. We make this promise, is because so that our promise will become strong and stable. And so even in the a worldly sense, in the secular life, we also say that if you make a promise in front of many people, then that promise will be stronger, and you'll be able to keep that promise more strongly than just making a promise in the presence of one or two people or just by yourself. If you say to yourself, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to gamble and so forth, then it not be not very strong. You will not keep that promise very well. But if you made that promise in the presence of like hundreds of people, then you will keep that promise. So your promise will be stronger. So in the same way here, when you take the vow, the bodhisattva vow, which you are making a promise to yourself, saying that I'm going to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. For that reason, I'm going to engage in this such and such practice. In their presence, in the presence of all the Buddhas, all the gurus, the deities, the Buddhas, Dhammapalas, and so forth, then it becomes even more stronger. So for that reason, it is important to visualize all these holy beings so that you can make the promise in their presence.
Mele maybe Jabok General and the Soji Dombale or Tedin Deshe Jaya Shuna, Tese Shuna, Tedejano Dugaba. Madumanes and the Total and Deshe Jan Rogu Yorder. Chungan Monete Tere Yor. ina ta ngaru ta de tise yo ma ti ta de jidi che shows kunjo sala da cha sat.
So now we're going to have this recitation again. So repeat after Rinpoche. And so Kunjo Sumla Daj of the Dipatam. So there's there is a whole meaning of course of that which has to be explained. But since we don't have time, it's become quite late. So we'll not go through that explanation. But maybe tomorrow when we have Medicine Buddha initiation, if we have time, then we'll go through that explanation tomorrow. But anyway, so please repeat this after Rinpoche with your hands folded together.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Che.
Kunjo Sumla Dajavshi.
Dipa Tamche Sosora Sha.
Dikpa Tamje Sosorosha.
Doye Gala Che Rang.
Dove Gela Jeye Ram.
Sanje Changchu Yi Chi Sung.
Sangye Changju Yeke Sung.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Che.
Kunjo Sumla Dajavshi.
Dipa Tamche Sosora Sha.
Dikpa Tamje Sosorosha.
Doye Gala Che Rang.
Dove Gela Jeye Ram.
Sanje Changchu Yi Chi Sung.
Sangye Changju Yeke Sung.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Che.
Kunjo Sumla Dajavshi.
Dipa Tamche Sosora Sha.
Dikpa Tamje Sosorosha.
Doye Gala Che Rang.
Dove Gela Jeye Ram.
아 넘바 속에 다다 티 선제 전주 이제 숨무셔야 되거든. 선제 집에 넘바 대도 대전에 토비 요매 예소래. 얘나의 선제 전주 이제 숨무셔야 돼. 조바도녀다 마게 세제 돈제 절라나 요다 봐 조베 선제 공부 토바 샤고 녀베 셈 제바체시 조제라 셰소무조도 미 바체고 아레스.
And so the last line, when you repeat the last line, Sangye Changchu Yeke Sung, so which means that I'm taking this in the bodhisattva vow. I don't know just by saying that if you receive the bodhisattva vow or not, but imagine thinking that I'm going to generate this mind to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So if you have that thought strong, then that will help also.
Kunjo Sumla Dacha Che.
Kunjo Sumla Dajavshi.
Dipa Tamche Sosora Sha.
Dikpa Tamje Sosorosha.
Doye Gala Che Rang.
Dove Gela Jeye Ram.
Sanje Changchu Yi Chi Sung.
Sangye Changju Yeke Sung.
Oh, ta choro soje la mage seche tonje je de lana me yota ba zobe sonje je komo to ba chawo nyabe sem chewa che ju she yore. Gawa gonga re. Teni sem she nyu yo mare. Tari ngaro sung sonzo che ande teni sem chewa che ju she yore. Anje se yero gawa gonga res.
So now you have generated a mind, wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. This is a very wonderful mind which you have never generated before. So you should rejoice. You should feel very happy that you have generated this mind now.
당에 동조 전에 저로서 내려 번째대 toone omeda ameda kanana 번째대 toogre 저로서 저본데 배도 매소소서 제야요 말에 가르래도 저는 가로서 저본데 라시지 쳐봐 수대요. 토마 매반에 가는 동안에 돈에 서보대 때모 시보지요 소소 주고요 봐 소소 서보대 시보 있었네 수이나요 되래 중고요 대 정시 쳐봐 주고요 다 정시 쳐봐 동바래 전에 동맹원에 전에 도가 이제 콜에 끝고고요 래 재미바 제쇼스.
So now Rinpoche is going to do the emptiness and purification part. So where he will sprinkle the water from the vase and say everything becomes empty, and then from the state of emptiness you arise yourself as the white Tara deity. And when you say becomes empty, it doesn't mean that becomes non-existent. You should not think that your body become non-existent completely. So, but the thought or the view holding yourself or your body as existing from its own side or existing inherently is the one that has to be emptied. And you have to think that your body or yourself or everything is empty of inherent existence. And so then with that thought, you develop that thought, and then that very thought transforms into the body of the white Tara.
Dharma Zopa Rinpoche, Dharma Sera Jey, Geshe, Venerable, Sera Jey, Dewe Chungla Ka Chungpa Te Jive Cha Duje Chidu Ge Ju Ba Ti Sho Ma Ka Ma Dhamma Ma Ba Tu Ka Dewe Chungpa Jive Te Dwa Tong Yi Ka Bo La Hong Ge Be Tsen Ba Ra Cho Oh ya ta choro su doka yi ji ko le ka chou so so mi ba che de yo ma ta chen mi ju de le doka yi ji ko le ka yi ko che ne le tene chen wo ka ge yo de ma ta ma ban de ni chen ne chen wo ka ya yo ma de o te ta chen wo mi ju de le.
So you have generated yourself as the white Tara now, right? And so just like I described earlier, so you think of all the things in being empty of inherent existence. From that, from that state of emptiness, then you arise yourself in the form of the white Tara. So that is the actual initiation, and that's how you receive the initiation. So there's no way you can receive initiation in an ordinary form, and so you can only receive initiation in the white Tara deity's form, and therefore you generate yourself as the white Tara, and you can receive the initiation.
That's the only way go ala chetola tene, tomandele chetola tene onkawa, chenchola tene onkawa. So you rubula tene onkawa, chetumba to she ores, sepewa to segara sepewa to she.
And then so now for the actual initiation, there's an initiation through the long life, the ritual cake or the Dharma, and then there's one through the nectar, the alcohol nectar, and then through the pills and the increasing of the life. So there's a 4-part in the actual initiation.
다다다가도 제 야와도 친구고요. 제 야와세를 소소를 셰노나트니 주네. 아니 배 가르쳐가로다. 도가네마 사발라 소바. 아니 소도 대판도를 메마예나데 통소 소소 셰노시와도. 오 드니가 가서는 제대 야노고요. 봐. 제패 야노를 제투를 놓고요. 대다 제패 봐 야와데 다 친구고요. 레스게 초가데 돈이.
So now this is this part you're hooking back the life that you have lost, so we lose our life, slowly we lose our life. Like every time when we have a nervous feeling or when we're scared, like we feel very afraid, frightened in the dark, or when we fall down, we feel very frightened, right? That kind of fright. So that time we lose our life, and so now whatever life you have lost, through that, you lose your life and your life becomes shorter. And so whatever the life you have lost through that, and now you hook back, through this ritual.
다 저로서 라마라 대화슈 trouble 셰베 제제 라메 투가를 비교해서 시티네 대신에 투가를 보내 투지걸 내내 봐서 쇼처를 트네를 되네 저로서 제 엄마야 제다 시제도 자보도 제라 소바테네 그봐 귀자와서 강가로 도 칼레지 짜체네 봐제도 치구 롱오메 봐 치구 아니 치구네를 되네 가르고 어레 우리 제시에서는 치드네 되네 저로서 처음에 제 리저 토쇼는 메메 받체 거거든요.
And so now, you develop a very strong faith and devotion towards the Lama, and the Lama radiates light from his heart, and then from his heart it's shine towards the heart of the front generation, and then from the front generation the light radiates towards all the 10 direction, and all the lives that you have lost through being scared and so forth are all being hooked back to you.
That's it. 아니 다다테 가리고 제메테 린절라 소바테네 치쿠네라 아니 다다테 도가 이제 콜리고 이데 말에 에나는 리다가 자와 쳇바메요 와 자와 쳇바메가 전에 범바요 아니 범바동 아니 제발라 소베 데치고에 넘바 치쿠네라 아니 데제네나 주베 도가 이제 콜리고 콜로도 그 차노라 파툼 아니 델달에 데시 저가보 바네라 저로서고 내님에 쇼네 바슈데라 리제 농토체 강 리제 농토체 공 다네 다다테르 디저도 세 바체 도제 존에 세 야시 용바 도제 소체네 처음에 티르도 토시 용메미 바체 금데 다테 다 샤마님이라 드니레 다다테레 된.
And so when you do that visualizing in more detail, okay, so the light radiates from the heart of the front generation and towards the all the 10 direction, and then from there, the light, come back. The light, the immortality, the immortality and the life, comes in the form of a nectar, so comes into the front generation, into the heart of the front generation. And so there is the family Buddha Amitabha on top of Vaitara's head, and then there is the ball and the Kapala and Kapala ball and so forth. So from there the nectar flows down into the Vaitara, and then from the Vaitara comes down to you and enters through your the pore on your forehead, on your head, on the crown of your head, and it enters through that, and then purifies all the negativities, all the diseases, all the stains and so forth, and then restores your life that you have lost.
당에 도마데 저로 선거를 자네라 아니게 저로서 제 야와도 친구네 대체 소소서 메바체 초강인데 그래서.
And so now Rinpoche is going to recite the ritual, and as he does, and place someone will place the Dharma on your head. Imagine that all the life that you have lost has been restored now.
다레 로마노 제도 이제 서노 20배 어제도 다레 로마노 제도 서노 20배 어제도 다레 로마노 제도 서노 20배 어제도 다레 로마노 제도 서노 20배 어제도 가데리 제바도 달아 세원도 제제미도 제제 먼저에 유르도 제제 머시베도 제 저러제 세문에 배장세도 제제 처음에 세는도 도바죠 야데데모 온게 잡아다 라벨라에 중에 제제베 도바볼랑에로 조도에 빠데라만노 제 다시쇼 다지 태양한 거 받으라 다 뇽바 소와텔 세 뇽바 소와도 tane domba 도체도 domba 뇽바 소와도 세노 뇽바 소와 저요베노네 다 알레테 세 뇽바 소와텔에 세테 이다 대용 tane 너시 제제메 리다 세바 메지 샤게 범발이 네게 제 짜짜다 빠데메 바 파티 그러봐 아니 제대로 konje 용화 사이 다들 용화 사처메 르 농칼라 소베 티수 제 통체 아니 지구네는 러와 지구 다들 리보 요아데 데데 제 동제 너정공보도 튕게 노체 농바 꾸데 제점에 것도 제점에 거의 차 통제라 더 대단히 점에 제 저 바바 처럼노지 쇼원에 슈 알리제 농도제 공 디도 네데 바체도 네데 세 바체도제 종 저왕가에 쩌도 세뇽바노 소체 아니 어야 리정도 지지 푸스소바도 대시 처음에 세 이린도 토준요베 메반제사.
So now again, so there's now restoring what has been degenerated, and so there's the degeneration of the life, degeneration of the vows, and so forth. And so here, degenerating of you're restoring the degeneration of the life. So again, imagine a light radiating from the heart of the Amitabha on the crown of the Vaitara, and hooking back all the lives. All the essence of the four and the five elements, like the earth, water, fire, wind, and the space, and so forth, all into the vase of the Amitabha, and from there goes the nectar flows down into the Vaitara, and then from the Vaitara comes down to you. Through your crown, whole enters into your body, purifies all the negativities, all the diseases, all the sickness, all the stains, and restores in your life. And you have, then that way you have achieved the realization of the blessings of the immortality.
이제 배워지지도와 대로자도 제대장 동화당과 체리네베데제 보도도 대바조랑의 반주와에 다시 대조된다 될레쇼 다시 세뇽바데 소타 다테데 또도 세뇽뇽바데 소와 다테 그만 넘지 그다네 제제메 리도 제바메제 샤게 범발레게제 와트메 바 파티 아니 다 손바동 사용뭐 자절로 소바 토도도 저지 퍼서 소바 대소도 제체 아니 녀마도 나와라 소바 뜻소 같은 위에라 소바 되는 전부 여러 뜻소 강아 Tandu Zajiton, Lama Geshi, Chebache Noji, Shala, Nutu Tonche, Tane, Toto Najoba Noji, Nyoto, Keba Penta Noji, Chera, Tosanji, College, Yabosu, Jale Seshu, La Sobe, Seno Dongato, Tasseno Dongato, Jide Kola Kante, Chemboyana, Tazo Katsi Kunela, Tangaruso, Seno Dongato, Pajugu, Juguar, Teita, and Cheme, Ridani Banoji. Cheme Shidong, Chawan Jomengo, the Tinzi Netala Soba Tonche, Jitejo Conje, Leso Tonche, Etapoto Soba Tonche, Tashibe, Tashi Tajeto, Zejeto, Jasi Ramoja, not Dodo. No, Geto the Tela Soba Noma Rome, but didn't, and then the Jitame to give, say, Kola Pata, Tele, Gazeti, say, the Jabba Cherono, Shawon, Legion, Noto Go, Dido, Nede, say, Pacheto, Toto, Seno, Yomba, Socha, Tenoje, Tonje, Top. And
so now restoring the power and the merit that you have lost. And so again here, imagine a light radiating from the vase of the Amitabha on top of white Tara, on the top of the white Tara, the front generations in the crown, and all the powers of the gods like the Brahmans and Indra, and the powers of the sun and the moon, and all the powers of all the essence of the food and so forth, and all the power and the merit of all the kings of the 3,000 the world system, and all this imagine hooking back all these powers, all the powers and the merits in the form of, so you can imagine anything, any kind of merits, any kind of powers that you can imagine of. So these are what is described in the text, but you can also think of any other powers that you can think of. And so in the form of 8 auspicious symbols, 8 auspicious symbols, 8 substances, or the 7 royal emblems, in that form, and then that hooks back into the vase of the Amitabha Buddha, and from there a nectar flows down to the white Tara, and then from there the nectar flows down to you through your crown hole, and that way purifies all the negativities and all the stains and all the diseases and so forth, and restores all the powers and merit that you have degenerated, and thereby you receive the blessings the realization of the immortality. And then, so now that completes the restoration of the degenerated power and merit, and now it is the restoration of the commitments and the vows. And then, so restoring the commitments and the vows, and then prolonging the life through the empowerment of the body, speech, and mind of white Tara.
Now that you bought it, I did Cherono Lamala, Taba shoot of a change, Lame to go negative, and the Shedges to go to Juka, they to get Tamile, they to get Tamile, Gazette, the Shuji Lama, the Sonja, Pogoro Chiusoma, Tonjeto, Chavata, and the Wache Sona Jubi, Jaya Droga, Ejicolo, Jawa Chaba Meso, Teti Jibi, Lama no to Cheba, Tonje, Kasu to Jalano, they told you Kasu to Jalano, and the Sonja said Kazu. And then in the Ma, Darita Darisado, Oma Hula Soba, in the Chance Sabella Sobe, Noma Latene, so the Chemete, the Gazeto Cheba, Kama Tisa, Cabo Mabo Tigasa, Noma Shedo, the Sheji Jessamine Salata, the Jessamine Salata, Tamba Lejo say, the Kama Tisa Java, Cherono Jesho, the Java, the Torono Jesho, Drama, Nikasala Tami, Sono Togarada. Dharma Nikasa the Tembe Legion non Tonje Kang, Seko Toma Meba ne Change So Cheba So Lingua Yesala Tembe Dida, Tonje Nocha Tonje Shonji Ta, Kasu Tuji Chala To, Gosa Doje Sanji, Dani the Chebe Gone Chemete in the Tojino Me Banzesa.
And so now, again, same as before, through the power of your strong faith and devotion, the Lama and towards the Lama, the right light radiates from the Lama's heart, and that strikes to the heart of the front generation. And again, now from the front generation, the light radiates towards all the 10 directions, and especially towards the Pure Land, where the White Tara and Royal Tara is residing. The White Tara, the long life White Tara, the long life deity White Tara, long life deity Amrita, Yusuf, Vijaya, and so forth, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all their blessings of their body, speech, and mind. You extract, pull back, or comes down to in the form of the Buddhas, in the form of the Buddha's bodies, and in the form of the mantras, the 6 syllable thumb, the mantra gala, and so forth, all comes in that form, and then dissolves into the heart of the front generation. And then from the front generation, from the 3 places of the front generation, the Om at the forehead, eye at the throat, and then Hum at the heart. The 3 lights, like a white, the red, and like a dark blue or dark blue color. Nectar and flow down and fills all your 3 places, your forehead, your throat, and your heart area is all filled with all these 3 nectars, and thereby again you receive all the blessings of the body, speech, and mind, and all the negativities of your body, speech, and mind, especially the negative karmas created by taking the life of others and so forth, has been all purified, and now your body, speech, and mind becomes that of the Vajra body, Vajra speech, and Vajra mind, and thereby you receive the realization of all the blessings of the immortality.
다섯 번 셋던 받아. 셋던 세야 될 아니 띵거 농가를 체리집에 라마라 소바도 주요 받아 저러서 농가를 주요 받아서 되네 마 지기질다 타더네 너가 이제 걸로 저러서 더네라 너가 이제 걸리고 그수 뒤도 저러서 링와에서 예매도 정인 장후 봉어서 탈 제용 그래. 디딜러네 너가 이제 걸리고 저러서 더네라 너가 이제 걸리 그수 뒤도 나로서 링와에서 예매도 저송소서 미바치고 그래서 저강에 내가 저렇게 들고
And so now is the turn to dissolve the life. And so here, when you say dissolve the life, so you dissolve all this the lineage gurus of the long life deity that you have visualized on top of the front generation. So all they dissolve top and dissolve to the bottom like that. So one to another from top to bottom, and then finally dissolves to the White Tara, the front generation, and then the front generation also dissolves into you, into yourself. So at that time, Rinpoche will be reciting the prayers, and then when it says Za Hum Bam Ho, and so the White Tara dissolves into you, and now you become inseparable from the White Tara. So your body, speech, and mind becomes inseparable from the holy body, holy speech, and holy mind of the White Tara.
So the control matter. So the Jeta Tawa, the Wajiba Padalama Tomano, change a large Java Tabata, maybe change a large Jaya College, change a large, Nome Java, change a large, Gombo, Davi, change a large, Pamo Tabato, Javi, change a large, change a large, Jeta Jove, Nime change a large, Sana Bemba, change a large, Kira Nodu, change a large, Jama Ganda, change a large, Pejesano, change a large, Eva. Sera Jey Shenjala Jivegada Soji Shenjala Pejalo Chiji Shenjala Jawakama Lodo Jade Shenjala Pejalo Shenjala Jawaka Jade Shenjala Keche Jakeje Kazon Raji Shenjala Taka Takalodo Teleja Shenjala Moti Kedo Yete Shenjala Keche Tapa Kedo Shenjala Shenjala Lodo Shenjala Dojo Lodo Sata Shamba Jante Pada Shenjala Jorama Jode Shenjala Jete Tende Telejanto Pada Shenjala Jeto Jobe Amolo Deshi Tende Janto Pezombe Shenjala Chode Ama Doga Yikole Lato Cheno La Chimi Sevi Tujente Betele Chobene Tawaje Machawana Velo Mandanoji 리제 나사 세제 중앙 바제도 차고 영아 예바 대고 바사제 되게 유베대 바와 동아 제마 예베 저와 제인지 바소 원여와 저집에 다 돈제레 수제 저바 바와제도 소 세도 세노 베도노 제 류도제 에도제 괴시제 바와 동아 초도 도몽게도 말레바 다다니에도 토바 시제라도 도모타레 따레 로마네 도모타레 도로노 모타레 따레 로마네 모타레 따레 로마네 모타레 따레 로마네 다오보 호모세다디다 메다예소 다디 세돌라데네 오카와데도 사레 다디데.
So with that we have completed the long life initiation and conferred through the long life and Dharma.
다 저로서 세이드슬라테네 온가와데 세이드스 뭐들네 도지 제바전더니 저로노지 샤도 소위 리제노 도지 정주지 세지 다다 공소소소 미바체 아니 정주지 세지 데지 공와이자 자 류틸레노 네바뇨바 통제 소처 레세 데비 차 세이 바체 통제레 토데 체메티리도 토시뇨비 미반제스.
And now, so you'll be. This is now the initiation, long life initiation, conferred through the long life nectar. So you'll be tasting the nectar. When you taste nectar, when you swallow that, and you just imagine that's the bodhicitta that filled whole your body with that bodhicitta, and all the channels and all the winds and all the powers that have degenerated from your body and is being restored, and thereby you receive the blessings or the realization of the immortality.
Mama yabane jangu tare tare mama yabane jana bugre mama tare tare mama yabane tare mama tare mama tare tare mama yabane jana gade yeso ta chei revala tene ngo kawade ya jabare.
So next one is from the pills, the long life pills. So similar.
Ne mena jeja tajin zombi gatan me isegore do robote isere tek choro so gotene 샤드 소와라 때는 내리지 자자자 통제 존이 팀아이메 초와레 토데 체메체 ing도 토시뇨비 미반데 그거 뉴스.
And so now again, as you taste, the long life pills, it is said that it is made of 424 medicines, and when you eat that, then that will get rid of all the 424 diseases that you have in your body, and so by eating that, all the disease has been cured, and you receive a long life. You receive the long life, or the realization of the immortality.
Oh, yeah, I was a Sepewa, the Neg, Deto Jagre, Deto Jabeto decided, Ned Deto Jabadon, taking no how the city Lama to the Kangi, and Adon Loma to the Medo, Tojabegonetene, Tashido Shiji, Chess also the Mibache Gugres.
And so now next one is the next and the last one is increasing the life. And so now Rinpoche is going to recite the prayers of expressing the power of truth. And so as he does that, imagine all the gurus and all the Buddhas related with the long life practice, all in the space, reciting the prayer together with Rinpoche and reciting the auspicious prayers and so forth, and sprinkling flour on you.
Jebeto Jesujo Loba, May Sange Jebeto, the Jeju Jumana Jebeto Jedana, Rama Jamata Jasayon Pevara Shu, Sedeto Jesujo Daba, May Sange Sedeto, the Jeju Juman, Sedeto Jedana, Rama Sedeta Japayon, Sayon Pevara Shu, Zebeto Jesujo Daba, May Sange Zebeto, Jeju Jumana Jebeto Jedana, Rama Jabata Jasayon Pevara Shu. Sedeto Jesujo Daba, May Sange Sedeto, the Jeju Jumana Sedeto Jedana, Rama Sedeta Jasayon Pevara. Sodeto Jesujo Daba, May Sange Sodeto, Jeju Jumana Sodeto Jedana, Rama Sodeta Jasayon Pevara Shu, Shirato Jesujo Daba, May Sange Shirato, the Jeju Juman, Shirato Jedana, Rama Shirata Jasayon Pevara Shu. 다티 이제 되게 너가 이제 걸레 생원 삼모 포서마래 다 저러서 너가 이제 걸레 생원 삼모지 토네 나도 자체 뭐제 수샤디 가르레 세잖아 나로도 강가 퇴장에 요 말에 가저 쪼저도 나로서 강가 용말에 나로 그게네 예나 용원에 전에 다 배 공터 저도시 제수는 야보래 손에 드리스마도 캔데 장데도 약간 여러라 소바한테 걸로 가요매 오늘 전에 어느 모먼들이 지를 때 정원스 꺼내를 캔데 장데 전에 용겨야고 요 말에라 전에 공로 자원이네 요 말에 아니 저로 중에는 얘나 수지고 오해 제요 말에 오늘 전에 다리 가로서 아니 정원스 제주 쉬나 전에 동에 꺼내로데 폐아이다 가로서 강가를 전에 세라 야보 종요래 대다 가도 자체 본제 세야데 되레스.
And so now that with that I have offered, I have completed in offering the long life initiation to you, and we should all feel very happy that we have received this initiation. And the reason is because we all came here willingly from our own side, to receive the initiation. Nobody forced you to go and take this long life initiation. And also from my side, I've never, never did it, with the, with a haughty, thought, thinking that I'm a great scholar and so forth like that. So I never had thought that with this nice crowd, there's no way I can even have that thought. And so anyway, so nobody forced you. We all came with a pure thought, thinking that there's the Tara in a long life initiation, I'm going to receive that. So we all received that. So therefore, we should all feel very happy.
그때서냐요래 당하르도 뒤세근 저와세나나 가르세나나 레가르 거머니게 취취사를 거냐 못하는 다 뒤세근 저와세는 용사래 응은에 전에가 알레 지루잖아요 고마트니 제 내가나 갈리 가버려 뒤세질래요래 넘어서 때도 거냐요래 거냐요나요 가르서 다리데 아니 고체네 오늘 전에가 당하르서 뭐 일에 토바데 세나인다 세라가 고체돼요래 그러봐 고체요 가르레세나 가르서 단다 대이 당연히 됐어서 내를 세야 돼서 제가 개체모래 제만 미바체 세야 돼 제가 그 팬도 담미바 템보체는 해도 요아래 마당에 저러서 끊어요래 되게 주제요래 개mol로 돼서 내 저러서 제시는 이들 담아도 마친도 해다니 손도 지러와 내니 균에도 대도 가고 말아 마도 저러서 돼서 손도 그래 가르래 되시는 가로서 거야 되는 미바체야 존조세네 가야 라야를 제가 요 말에 미바체 세고 요르바 제서고야 당에말 아버가 되는지 배를 대사를 용내라 라메고 옹샤를 용두가 라마선에 옹셔네 마 도버치 키샤 마 도버치데 알라마를 피고서네 레사 누가 되네 다 옹노 그래라 미바체 종조세데가 코나만 로모두가 아버데 나만 로바데세 미바체 세네 코나만 로데 세 수시 사사레 마 도버치데 야자 라마 저럴 마 도버치 토시뇨베 미바제 세네 파키스마레세 파키스데 미바제 토야 문두가 생때를 바쳐 자가 여러분 라발을 토야도 요 말아 제당아 코테 나와 말로네 라마 저럴 마 도버치 토시뇨베 미바제 코라자 키스마레세 사진 넘어서 되는 깔아 놓은 누가 대소리 대이상에 저러서 되제 니 교원의 야성제 이제
So, we went over the time, so we must have felt very tired. So this is the change of time now, where you feel tired in teaching, receiving the teaching, but you don't feel tired doing other things, right? Like, if you feel tired working, you don't feel tired playing, but you feel tired receiving teaching. So this is the change of time, just sitting here cross-legged, you feel tired, but running around doing things, you don't feel tired. So normally, the lamas will tell jokes to tell people, to wake them up. When they're feeling sleepy, when they feel tired and they feel sleepy, they fall asleep. Then the lamas will tell joke to wake them up. But now since we're finished, you're already waking up, right? Because we're finished and you can walk out now, so you're already waking up. You won't be awake, you won't be walking out in sleep, right? So there's, but still, I want to tell you this story. So there once, there was this a person, a guy, called Abbot. So he came from like the countryside of Tibet. He went to receive the initiation from a lama in Lhasa. So when he was receiving the initiation, and all the time the lama was saying. So, anyways, before that, it is important, to do the preparatory practices and all, the setting of the motivation and so forth. And the actual initiation, you just do the the visualizations only most of the time, right? And then it's not really beneficial. If you can really follow the visualizations exactly as it is mentioned, then of course it will be beneficial. But most of the time, it's really hard to follow that visualization, so it won't be, it won't be very beneficial. And so there's this story related with this event. Is that this man went to receive initiation, and when he was receiving initiation, he heard the Lama saying, "Okay, visualize this, visualize that, imagine this, imagine that." And then he didn't like it so much, so he actually came with a bag of butter, to offer to the Lama. And then when he came to make offering, he said, "Okay, Lama, you can just visualize that I will offer you this butter." And then he took away the butter. He didn't give the butter, so it's like a joke,
Zunga de teze sa go yare la, so go teze go yare te ida tele, ani delu chi gar ma lu gar te ida nge ma ge delu chi is.
So since you have received the White Thara initiation, now you have to recite White Thara mantra, and in order to recite that, you have to receive the transmission of the mantra. So now Rinpoche is going to give the transmission.
Om Tare.
Om Tare, please repeat.
Tutare.
Tutare.
Ture Soa.
Ture Soha.
Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tutare.
Ture Soa.
Ture Soha.
Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tutare.
Ture Soa.
Ture Soha.
Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tutare.
Ture Soa.
Ture Soha.
Om Tare.
Om Tare.
Tutare.
Tutare.
Ture Soa.
Ture Soha.
Oh, 다 되고 나도 성문에 나 뉴뉴 지가 셰버선지 lonje 람마 차송지 되게 있어 거 되고 셰버선지 lonje 람마.
So this short mantra includes the whole teachings of the old three capable beings path, the teachings of the three capable beings path.
다 되이다 나로서 네 가서 토베 도지도 동바 처전도 순용배 거는 네 지딘제 마셔서.
So now with the thought to keep all the vows and commitments purely in your mind, please repeat this verse after me. And so now you can take the grain. This is the resembling a flower. So you offer this flower to the Lama.
So cheta kasa pa.
So cheta kasa pa.
Cheta tongje dagi je.
Cheta tongje dagi ge.
So cheta kasa pa.
So cheta kasa pa.
Cheta tongje dagi je.
Cheta tongje dagi.
So cheta kasa pa.
So cheta kasa pa.
Cheta tongje dagi je.
Cheta tongje dagi.
Hoda lama choro ka karu no ade ngazo ke chege yi sege yore ti tenda de yong te tenda hama kono de marwa.
And so now what you just said is that you're going to do everything he told you to do. So you have to understand what he told you to do, right?
Oh, 대이다 당하로서 저가 이제 거기 중앙 다 차치 기본도 내나도 되지 말했대. 내가 시지 말마다 대소로서도 컨트롤도 내가 이나 아니 소소 온셔사 이다 루토사 이다 페무시바 페 제바체요 아레스.
So now so what you're going to do, what he's telling you to do is to recite the mantra, not just one time. Of course, that's too short, right? So as much as possible. It's not giving a number, but just do as much as possible, because you have received the initiation, you have received the transmission. So therefore, if you recite it with that, it becomes much more beneficial.
That's only also maybe Jabi and Geno Chavache said, 이 대이다 대원 자지 송상 알아서 가죠 제가를 손이 쪽에 샤도 공화도 중라 소바탄에 마사와 베게는 마주 사례는 소소소 이 쪽이야 그래서.
And then so tomorrow we're going to have the initiation of the medicine Buddha, and then also because this initiation is also related with the action tantra, therefore we should avoid all those harsh food like meat, egg, and onion, garlic, and so forth. And so just avoid that before you receive the initiation, but you can take it afterwards, after the initiation.
다들 나로서 관계를 녀도 사자지 게사와 자체모요 아래 게사와 자체모요 바데더니 뭐와 제가르마도 뭐와 마제는 나로서도 게사데 추르추르 노고요 아래 뭐와 제가 이상에 내내니 뭐와 제가 저로서 메바체 쇼스.
And so now we have to dedicate the merit that we have accumulated together, a vast amount of merit that we have accumulated together. We should dedicate that. Otherwise, it can be destroyed by any kind of afflictive emotions. And so therefore, it's important to dedicate so that it can be safe and stored. And so now, as Rinpoche recites the dedication verses, now imagine that you are dedicating in the same way as Rinpoche does.
다른 데는 가서 관계 싸자be 계획사원데 세배 론제 첨박인데 뒤선도 싸도 소반이 게다 자도 담으로 쇼치도 dombe 탈라 때네 아니 그제 버릇이면 루도제 땜바는 뭐지 이대제 건데 다시 제라 열이도 내봐 아니 때마 텐데 메셔봐 라kon상라면 노래 장게 자용 뭐 통제 진지선 뭐 초게 위 아니 리사 마체베 제셔 동만도 그제 되진 제저 제봐 아니 대사 전부 살아서 초지 견데제 되는 투도 쳐서에 거네 알라바스니 녀레 루데네스니 전혀는 뭐냐지 아주 소재다 고는 공도 배시 제봐 대다게选择了 때네 용비 요쪽 건데 내미 투도도 녀게 정도 제제 녀와 농사 제대 너는 친조 대체 제발라 뒤다다 롱세제 용비가 되네 뭐와체야 있어.
And so now I would like to request to all of you to dedicate for through whatever merit that we have accumulated together. Please dedicate that for the teachings of the Buddha to remain for a long time, and for all the holy beings who are preserving these teachings, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all the teachers of the all different traditions to have very long life, and for all the monks and the sanghas studying in the great monasteries like Sera Jey and so forth, to be able to fulfill all their studies and then spread the teachings throughout the world, and through this may there be no wars, no famine, no sicknesses, diseases, and so forth in the whole world.
So
now please offer a short mandala to thank for the teachings.
Now everybody also come to offer Khen Rinpoche and get blessing and blessing pill and blessing nectar. Everybody come slowly. Everybody get chance.
Oh, Nova, Lome Mare, Gwinde Nova, Nandre Jaye, Wombo Nanje, Dema Sebe, Sera Kundo, Jambe Yoje, Tsewe Jize, Tembe Rimba, Kuzo Lanje, Ine Drobe, Jano Nyeche, Rangi Cheche Tobe, Lamje, Shuja Tsewe Jambe, Tange, Doye Yenge, Mamba Saje, Jaye Temba Yere, Zeje, Temba Rache, Choge, Majab, Chacho, Nyamba, Jewe, Shode, Nije Chembe, Yera, Shewa, Pede Dede, Sewa, Sheba, Sije Jaye, Meche, Trele, Lejo Shonche, Lanje, Rimbe, Tande no Shuchu Chekna. Ayen Zemba, Rida, Jeje, Lonzo, Drembe, Tuje, Draje, Gache, Seshe, Mondo, Mama, Sera, Kunda, Jaye, Ngabai, Nonda, Londo, Dewa, Maje, Kanse, Teva, Chula, Cheje, Suje, Drala, Zemba, De, Tunde, Noje, Tado, Droje, Tashi, Jaze, Chogo, Jaje, Ranjo, Jaye, Sosa, Male, Kando, Jayo, Jaye, Janda, Sishi, Gele, Kuje, Yejen, Neje, Droje, Lame, Sonal, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaje, Gemo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenje, Cheye, Koza, Chido, Nyonje, Rada, Deje, Yeche, Jemet, Tome, Dedo, Deve, Jangot, Chaye, Yado, Lazo, Donjel, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaje, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenje, Podo Yede, Lazo, Jale, Noan, Dogo, Janzo, Donze, Penze, Toje, Ngawa, Layel, Ranjo, Disa, Jawa, Donjel, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaje, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenjel, Jide, Sule, Kange, Ngedoj, Chodo, Jawa, Noje, Nawan, Sami, Maya, Kuzo, Geyem, Tesu, Tombe, Cheje, Zonal, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaje, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenjel, Sibi, Chungko, Jola, Cheva, Dede, Ngeso, Jaye, Yeje, Nada, Doje, Dole, Moche, Rindo, Babi, Genda, Tonjel, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaje, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenjel, Kashi, Shido, Neye, Dodred, Dedo, Nyojo, Robe, Zenjoy, Nenjo, Lozo, Drilla, Tonze, Nizu, Pawu, Kande, Zonal, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaji, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenjel, Doje, Jonge, Gada, Manda, Rame, Dedo, Nyege, Tendo, Denzo, Shoye, Dazai, Yeche, Chede, Tesu, Janzol, Dacha, Dushe, Tabe, Sonden, Kaji, Gembo, Tinze, Janzoi, Kutse, Moche, Kaja, Rade, Jede, Lunje, Draba, Chenjel, Teda, Lame, Shaje, Chona, Shuda, Nine, Kebe, Sodan, Maze, Nime, Suge, Ranai, Aso, Konjo, Doye, Gejem, Ngawo, Lozo, Tinze, Janzoi, Sosu, Moche, Manje, Manam, Joje, Yoda, Doje, Nime, Kaba, Janzo, Yome, Dade, Ranjo, Jawa, Kunjen, Zebik, Nido, Chaba, Soye, Lanje, Chole, Gange, Novo, Nyembo, Jeba, Jeje, Lunje, Doje, Dede, Zode, Kansan, Noge, Leche, Ngazo, Chenda, Dado, Tode, Shonde, Kunde, Radai, Gete, Siche, Zemo, Jenje, Shana, Beme, Shalo, Dozo, Daso, Nyege, Suza, Dame, Kashi, Drebe, Chebe, Ranye, Kuzo, Chejo, Janzo, Taze, Meju, Siche, Jaye, Shalo, Tende, Loa, Mebe, Demat, Dage, Lazo, Dabe,
Everybody, tomorrow we 9 o'clock we start medicine Buddha Puja. Rinpoche also taking a Sabbath session. We all together here. Then 10 to 12 medicine Buddha and session.
Gewanda Tomje Rando Ngo Dizjib Jawa Domje Ngo Gala Chuda Ngawat Dagi Giwe Zawan Dugud Zambo Sheji Rando Ngowa Joy Shonju Senju Rambo Je Maje Bana Jeje Sheba Nyamba Memba Kone Gunda Beba Joy Pama Senje Donje Dendo Deje Nendo Tonje Tada Dowat Chonju Zeba Gana Zajeb Teta Gunje Melon Doje Jai Guru Ravi Goye Chengonzo Pedo Dewa Malen Jewe Shiri Ziwon Denze Janzo Shabi Sidi Bando Deje Jai Melo Lobe Jaye Dembala Kuye Najo Zuje Zumet Soju Ngembe Jeba Male Chosu Dembe Zene Jeje Melo Lobe Jaye Dembala Kuye Najo Zuje Zumet De Soju Ngembe Jeba Male Ba Chosu Dembe Zene Jeje Melo Lobe Jaye Dembala Kuye Najo Zuje Zumet Soju Ngembe Jeba Male Chosu Dembe Zene Jeje Jai Doni Nije Sundo Jewe La Jeje Zande Ganje Dende Shana Bemo Denze Janzo Sowan Dezo Jende Londo Jo Doni Nije Sundo Jewe Cheche Zande Ganje Dende Shana Bemo Denze Janzo Sowan Dezo Jende Londo Jo Doni Nije Sundo Jewe Cheche Zande Ganje Dende Chana Bemo Denze Janzol Sowan Dezo Jede Lando Joy Pende June Demba Daji Je Dinze Shevo Tamche Gungo Zo Leje Go Deshi Juye Ne Sanje Demba Dad Jijira Je Dona Gembo Shire Zemwak Seje Jaye Chenga Ganje Yozu Jaje Melo Gonze Dezu Dende Nyendo Jawa Zo Nodo Chinye Zame Dende Chosu Tuje Tado Dende Lendi Lome Dende Dajak Debi Melo Geme Nyendo Joy Me Zevi Te Che Che Re Ze Joy Me Che Me Oi Mo Enjoy Me Ya Kai Che Ge Me Zoi Je Zoi Gai Ba Lo Ye Zoi Zame Xie La Ye Zoi Wan De Me Zi Ye Te Ye Je Che Ye Re Ye Zi Che Me Ye Che Me Oi Mo Jo Ye Me Ya Kai Je Ge Me Zoi Je Zoi Gai Ba Lo Ye Zoi Zai Me Xie La Ye Zoi Wan De Me